Hello, hello. Welcome to our Friday Witchy Hangout. How is everybody? I hope that you're having a really good week. And thank you so much, Brody, for the $20 already for my lip gloss fund. I feel like my cheap ass is going to have to actually get like different lip gloss. So today we are doing a Pluto reading. What does your Pluto want to say to you? I'm really interested in doing these kinds of readings more often. We do them on Patreon, sometimes where I kind of tap into a certain planet. What does a certain planet want to say? And none is more interesting than Pluto herself, because Pluto is, got demoted as a planet from like the science people, but Pluto is the planet, the object in the universe that's like the furthest out of our solar system. It's this cold, tiny little planet, but in psychology, Pluto represents our psyche, our deep shadow part of the brain, the unconscious. And so it's really good to tap into that space sometimes. We do it often here because I'm primarily a shadow reader, meaning that we look at like normal situations and stuff, but I always try to tap into like the undercurrent, the Pluto of what's actually going on, because to me, Pluto is the place of power. It is the place where we can actually get in there, understand something, and it is the key to actually transforming some kind of an experience, which usually requires the death of an old self or an old pattern or an old way of viewing things, and the emergence of the phoenix when we tap in and use Pluto for what she can do for us. Pluto often has layers as well, where the lowest one is the Scorpion, which is very tit for tat. It's low to the ground. It doesn't see things from a high perspective. And so if you get your hand near it, it just feels threatened and it's going to sting you. That's the lowest vibrational energy of Scorpionic energy, of Plutonic energy. Then you've got the Eagle. It's very King of Swords to me, which flies above, sees things that other people can't see. It's very... It can be narrow in its focus, really great eyesight, detail-oriented, planning-oriented, and then you have the Phoenix. And this is the key to transformation. Real power is the power of controlling and changing yourself. And that's what we're trying to do here today. But I just want to make this clear too, is that this is what I strive to do on my channel just in general. And I just want to try to make that a little bit more clear. Maybe I'll have like an opener or something that I do on a regular basis, but I feel like I'm just one part of like your repertoire for most of you. Like you probably go to a lot of different readers, but understand that like what I try to do here is tap into the shadow, and that can be really potent and it can be really powerful, but it's important to kind of put it into context, because the things that we tap into here, the shadow is not the entirety of the psyche. It's actually a small part. It's not the entirety of who you are. And a lot of times when we look into the shadow are the parts of ourselves that we disown consciously. We don't like to look at those parts. It doesn't fit our ideal version of ourselves, the conscious self that we develop and that we put out into the world regularly. So if we bring up certain things and you kind of go, oh, I don't want to look at that, or it triggers something, an ego defense mechanism, just know that that's how it's supposed to work. You're kind of protecting yourself. And one thing that you can be protecting is your own self-image. So today we are trying to actually like go to that place. As Brene Brown says, we're going to put our galoshes on so that we can wade into the swamp of our subconscious and of our Pluto. Now, the other thing, and I was sharing this over on Patreon because I haven't really been following astrology a lot lately. I've been really busy, and I really don't like to not do that, but we do have this major movement in February. I think it's culminating on February 22nd, where we've got this conjunction between Venus and Mars. And, when I decided that this was what I was going to do, I didn't realize that Pluto is actually playing a heavy part in these conjunctions, because first Pluto is making contact with Venus, and then Pluto will make contact with Mars, two planets heavily involved in love, because Venus is the things that we want and Mars is how we go about getting it. Venus rules over our partners, our love, the way that we communicate, negotiate, and Mars rules over the exuality. I don't know what I can say on YouTube anymore. But yeah, so the two of those together are heavily involved in any kind of love, romantic experience, journey that we are going to take. And then Pluto is clicking that in. So, bringing to light, because Venus and Mars are both very conscious personal planets. It can be bringing to light what we have buried in our Pluto surrounding, and Venus rules over women and Mars rules over men. So there can be a lot that's coming to the surface here. So hopefully this little experiment can help us like dig in and make the most of those movements. But please take care of yourself. This is a shadow reading. All of my readings are pretty much shadow readings, because I think that it's more important to understand the why and the how of our behaviors, because you can actually like work with it and transform it. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into this. Callie, thank you so much for the super chat. Good morning. All right, so We are doing the shadow reading. We've got 3 piles here as per usual, although I can already kind of feel this out. Sometimes the formation that my readings take is like the first pile will be the overview, and then the second 2 piles are going to be like kind of subsequent. I'm feeling that strongly for this. I do just want to remind you as well, if I always pray beforehand that you are drawn to the pile that suits your highest and greatest good. Sometimes that's your own energy. Sometimes it can be somebody else's energy, but just keep that in mind. If you get your own energy back at you, which will be helpful in this reading, right? Then you can try to pick a different pile and work with this. I'm also getting that the first pile could be Pluto because it's contacting Venus and Mars, and then Venus and Mars together. And then like the other 2 piles could be Venus or Mars. So just work with these energies however you see fit. So pile number 1 we have is the apocalypsis. These are some really intense energies, by the way. Pile number 1. And pile number 2, the hunter. And pile number 3, Thanatos. Okay, so I'm going to hold them up together. This is pile number 1 on this side, pile number 2, and pile number 3. Sorry if my hands are shaking. I'm caffeinated as usual. All right, so just go through your process, tap in, allow your gaze to soften. Breathe in, breathe out, and be drawn into the stacks that you are most drawn to. Although I kind of feel like they're going to be painting a bit of a picture today. So, all right. Pile number 1. Okay. I'm getting a lot for this. I've kind of been like channeling this a bit all morning. But okay. I'm getting a story. So just kind of go with me to the land of far, far away places where we're going to dip into the psyche, understand that I'm using a lot of symbolism and a lot of metaphor. Now, the way that this is coming about, so what they're showing me is like somebody with a Cancer sun, and then they're showing me Pluto in like Scorpio, making a trine to that energy. Okay, so there's like a water connection, there's a sun, there's a Pluto that's involved, right? For those of you who kind of speak the language of astrology. And then I'm seeing that Pluto kind of circling around the sun, okay? And in this like vision that I'm having, I feel like I'm tapping in actually to a masculine energy, but of course flip these genders like however it's working specifically for your situation, because again, we're tapping into like the energy and how it's moving, not necessarily like genders or anything like that, always, but so I'm picturing there's like this young man, okay, and he grew up in a family, and the family was like very important to him, and it was also like very much a part of his identity here in some way, shape, or form. And I'm seeing the family kind of like disintegrating because there's some kind of like saboteur energy kind of coming across like Predator ish, that's kind of like stalking here like around the family unit and has kind of like locked and targeted onto like the mom here into this family. And so because of this, I feel, again, we're going to break this down. Okay. This is just the image that I'm getting. So, because of that, like the family kind of falls apart, but this little boy kind of obviously he identifies with his father. In psychology, we have, in our parents, we have the behavioral model, which is usually our same sex parent. And then we've got the relational model, usually the opposite sex parent. So this young boy child is like very heavily identified with his like father figure in terms of his expression, in terms of like his selfhood and his identity, which I feel like, again, he took like a lot of pride in. But then all of a sudden when the family kind of fell apart, I'm hearing soul fragmentation, like the soul kind of like fragmented, and there became like these 2 parts of self, and it confused him. And because he was a child, it did create some kind of trauma in the mind. But of course, like not having the sophistication to understand like exactly what was going on here. So this kind of like fragmented, and we've picked up on this in other readings where it kind of like created 2 parts of self. One that is like very much above board. This is the conscious self, and it's very Cancerian. So it could be very traditional, very family oriented. And I do feel like this little boy child, all that he ever wanted was a family, and like was to uphold that traditional kind of thing. But it's almost like he was so afraid. Like that's what's buried here in the Pluto, is like so afraid on some level, but this is buried, okay? And it comes out in weird ways, but he's so afraid of that being sabotaged or that being like taken from him, just the way he views in his mind that it was taken like from his father, because again, he's heavily identified here with the father. So what it's showing me here is like this apocalypse card almost looks like a kaleidoscope. Remember those, like the tubes that you looked into and you could like, and what do they call them? Like I can never say this word because I've only ever really seen it like written down, the Rorschach blobs that the psychologists used to put the ink blots. And it's like, what do you see here? Like a cow or like a, whatever. So I'm seeing that again, it's like in the psyche, but I'm seeing the psyche like, woo, like it distorts. It's like warping and then it like zooming in and it's distorting things because of what's going on here in the Pluto. So, and keep in mind, Pluto, it's a part of the unconscious. It's a part of the subconscious. It's a part of the unconscious mind. It's not like prevalent. It's not like this little masculine energy or the masculine side of you, if you're resonating with this, is going around saying like, well, I'm really afraid that like I think they stopped believing in family. I think that what went on here. They just thought that's a pipe dream. That's a fairy tale. It doesn't actually exist. Like if you can't beat them, join them. If you can't beat them, join them. Okay. And then I'm seeing like this saboteur energy maybe becoming a part of the family. So, and it feels again like a masculine energy, or again, it's that behavioral model. Like that behavioral model moved in maybe with the family. And we picked up on this like recently where there was like a stepfather energy and like the mom was like very attached to like the stepfather because the stepfather was very plutonic, very like used psychological methods to kind of control certain things, was very strategic. And so this little boy saw this scorpionic figure betray the father, kill the father, kind of like in Freudian terms, hopefully, and like usurp the father that he is very heavily identified with. So again, that fragmented his own sense of self. And again, I'm hearing like, well, I don't want that to happen to me, and maybe he sees the father as a bit weak because now I'm kind of flashing to the Goofy movie, with like little Max and like he's so embarrassed of his dad who he sees as like very goofy. Or I'm also seeing in Crazy Stupid Love, Ryan Gosling's character where like they start like talking and he starts talking about his dad and he starts saying like he was too soft though. Like, yeah, he was a good guy. He like, provided for his family. He was just too soft. And so I feel like, again, this masculine character like hated that part of himself because he viewed his father's weakness as the reason why his family was permeated, as the reason why his family fell apart. And we picked up on this in other readings. But what I'm actually getting is that this little masculine boy energy that I'm seeing, which again could be a part of you, doesn't see mom clearly because it was mom's weakness actually that caused the deterioration of the family in this particular scenario. Keep in mind, we're talking about energies, but I'm seeing whoever was targeted here, like by this individual. And so I'm seeing that mom may well be nice. We talk about this a lot. Nice is a garnish, and nice becomes an agent of evil. And nice is, frankly, very meaningless unless goodness is behind it. True goodness, because true goodness is strong. It holds a boundary. It has a spine, right? So, and it could be that I'm kind of getting that mom was like a good person, a nice person, very bubbly or whatever, like jovial in her mannerisms, but has a weakness, has an internal weakness. And I kind of feel like this masculine energy grew up in a house where it was like, women are just like little damsels. They don't have agency. They can't be held accountable for their actions. It's not like women are just kind of products of who's controlling them. And he saw like this usurper, this stepdad figure actually come in and be able to kind of control his mother in a way, and potentially like drive a wedge even between himself and his mother because the mom was so like fixated or focused. This could be like almost like a pick me, but it's like I saw this thing on I don't have TikTok, but I saw it like on YouTube, and it was like the shame of having a pick me mother or something like that. And it was all these kids opening up talking about my mom like just moved this guy in, and like I felt really scared and I felt really unsafe, or like all of a sudden my needs weren't met. But I see that there's a reluctance to hold mom accountable because mom is seen, even though she's the adult, even though she has agency, even though she's intelligent, what she is emotionally immature and emotionally underdeveloped, and maybe was taught herself that she is not to be held accountable for her decisions or like to have a sense of agency or something. So it's just acceptable for her to just be like blown around with the wind. And even though it's like her weakness or she's entertaining something, and she could have even intentionally entertained this, because I'm seeing like her shadow side mirroring like whatever went on with this like usurper figure, whether like I'm really seeing this person meld with the family and like become a step parent. Like actually it's like Scar taking over Pride Rock kind of a thing. And so because of that, it's like she has her own like Pluto, her own shadow side that matches this usurper's energy of like trying to control things or something like that. And she could have even, again, a child's mind is not developed enough to understand the complexity of all of these things. Just views the father as being weak is kind of like what I'm getting. And father, like probably, I'm getting like the father has issues as well, like could have maybe been overly focused on being accommodating or overly focused on providing for his family. Maybe he wasn't around, because I kind of feel like the mom was maybe wanting attention, like, or again, like power or something like that. Was I'm hearing power by proxy. Like she's not direct. Mom's not direct in some kind of way. And so instead tries to kind of like maneuver people around to get what she wants, because she doesn't feel like she can go directly. But this little boy child doesn't see this clearly in mom. So actually subconsciously like fears that happening to them. So they started guarding their heart, right? And this is what they want. Cancer rules over the heart. It rules over the chest. And Pluto can symbolize what it is that we want more than anything. And again, I feel like he wants a family that's built on love. That's what he wants. He wants to be connected with his heart space. It's just that he now feels like he's got to be on guard all the time, because if he doesn't, then somebody's going to come in and like usurp his family, right? So then it's like, if you, and I feel like this played out here between the two of you. And I don't know, you could have been on the receiving end of this plutonic thing that was actually controlling everything, because the fact of the matter is this masculine energy is quite the manifester, okay? But it's distorted until he integrates this Pluto, until he looks at those fears directly. It's controlling everything and it's warping his mind. So I feel like the way that this played out in his own life is, I'm really getting this as masculine energy. Flip this if it's you, okay? Because some of you, I think, were on the receiving end of this and you were very confused, like why you got treated the way that you did, or why he was acting the way that he was, or involving other people, or what is this? Like, you know, because you just felt a very simple like pull, and you don't have the same fears or something buried within you, but you don't understand why you got treated a type of way. Well, won't he be the king? I know he is the king I see inside. So, yeah, because you felt like, can you feel the love tonight? But like when this man feels love, and that's what he wants more than anything, that Pluto immediately kicks in like, okay, we got to control her. We got to control the situation, because if we don't, we end up like dad, goofy, yuck, like, you know. And so they just they sabotage it like from the get-go because it's unconscious. But this man has like fragmented himself like into like the saboteur. So there's a part of him that's the saboteur, okay? And he entertains the saboteur like kind of energy, right? So kind of getting that this man is a lot like mom. And he doesn't understand that because he thinks he's like dad. In reality, he has this weakness where maybe he's flattered by attention. Maybe he feels like that's the way to control things, is by indirect means. So there's these usurpers, there's these like sabotaging energies that like have an interest and probably want to control, you know, him or transform him. Or again, it's like that very plutonic, like, you know, get their hooks in him, and he's flattered by that, or he entertains it at all, instead of being the boundary, being the barrier, and saying, I'm going after what I want, which is my heart and it is my family. So he has failed to protect his family at some point. This could have been right out the gate. This could have been like later on. I don't know. But he is actually has become that like weakness. And that's like kind of what was involved here. But again, we've seen this in another reading where I feel like he has this like upright nature where he presents as very Cancerian. He presents as very traditional, very upright, very like straightforward in his morals and the things that he wants. But then because of that soul fragmentation with whatever happened in the family, and this could have just been like divorce or, but I'm really getting there was an usurper, and he doesn't understand that either, that this person was strategic and they right? But then also if that person's now a step parent, then he has two models of behavior to watch and observe. And he's seeing one person get everything that they want by being underhanded. And he's seeing the other person who was upright, but still had their problems probably not getting what they want, getting betrayed. And so it's like, he doesn't want to be that. So instead of healing that in his psyche, because I'm getting that there's horse yonis here, like both you and this person are very interesting, different, unique, maybe hard to kind of pin down because not because you're bad people, but just you have a very strong like sense of independence and spirit, and you maybe want something that feels like normal and stable, but you also like to maybe have adventures. And I think that maybe you found something in each other where it was like we could potentially have it all and like potentially do both. Like this could be very satisfying. And I'm seeing this movement was actually from God. Like, but this masculine like didn't really trust that, so ended up sabotaging it, because he ended up falling prey to someone targeting him, sabotaging him the same way mom did. But he doesn't see that very clearly. And this is also reminding me of Patrick Teahan, because he posted something it was like weeks ago now, I think, but it really stuck with me, because he was talking about like the asshole parent and the caretaker parent in dysfunctional childhoods. So and this could have been, the asshole parent could have been like the father, or could have been the stepfather, I don't know, but like the asshole parent is very clearly a jerk, like very masculine in it, in the sense that it's direct and it's overt about being a jerk or being controlling, or like, if I have a problem with you, I'm just gonna say it to your face, you're gonna know. And the caretaker parent tries to kind of disarm you from addressing their negative behavior directly. And that could have gone on with this masculine here. They were trying to like pull a bunch of shit to control stuff, but not in a way that you could call them out and be like, that was fucked up. I'm hearing technicalities, which you've already lost. If you're navigating your social relationship by technicalities, you've already lost. But that's what I see was going on. And it's this indirect way of trying to control situations and potentially trying to control his own heart, his family, and the person that he wants to build that family with and actually feels that pull to. Because I actually think that it could be quite a unique experience for this masculine to like feel that. And we'll talk about that kind of like in a second. But ended up falling, he became the saboteur because he was not integrated in his psyche. So I'm hearing cycle breaker, and this is healing, because I feel like you and this person are both very different, but part of what you're healing is like, you're not to be an enemy of the heart space, not to be an enemy of traditionality or like family energy. And you could have these patterns kind of going back and back and back and back and back, like in your own families. And maybe he doesn't know that. Maybe like about like who married who, like in his family, what went on, how his parents ended up together, or yours. There could have been some underhanded stuff. But again, I see that both of you are kind of wanting to stop this cycle in your own family, but he was the weak link. But I don't think he can accept that. And so I'm hearing the song Selfish by Justin Timberlake, and I've actually been listening to that all morning, but I really resisted listening to it. So I feel like there's strong resistance, but it's like, yeah, I'm selfish. I guess that I can't help it. So I really like that song, but I listened to it one time and then I vowed to never listen to it again, because I didn't want to give Justin Timberlake a scent or like the satisfaction, because I heard that Britney Spears, like her fans made her Selfish song that's like super old, like the top of the charts, because he's been like really rude to her. It just bothers me. And I just didn't want to like that song, but like I do. And I feel like this is how maybe this masculine's like feeling about it. And it's kind of like the key. And I feel like that's how this masculine energy feels about this feminine. I guess I'm selfish. I guess I really, really want you, because there's something about this person that he wants where he's like, oh shit, like you're going to destroy me, Pluto, right? But something greater is going to like emerge, but it's like, shit, that person's really going to destroy me. If somebody else, and they might even think that, look, you're really beautiful. Like you're the perfect person to have a family with. You're like the perfect partner, and it's intimidating. It because of their fears and because of their own like fear of their own weakness, because, well, I had my dad in me and then he got usurped by like this stronger, better guy. Like this is internalized in him. And I'm hearing that's not his karma. That may well have been his dad's karma, either that his dad came in here with, or that his dad is built for himself via the decisions that he made. And I'm kind of, they're circling mom. I'm not saying that mom's a bad person. You don't have to be a bad person to not be right for somebody. You know what I'm saying? Or to like maybe have, because mom is kind of like controlling and maneuvering, and maybe she had her own weaknesses and her own insecurities and wanted to, like, I don't know, but they're kind of circling the mom here in this. Like she is the hidden like variable. She's like the splinter here, and he's afraid of women. He's afraid of, and that's the other thing, is because you are showing up here as a horse yoni, whether you have strong, Aries or Aquarius in your chart, but a horse yoni is independent, and he might be intimidated by that, instead of recognizing that he's the same way, and that actually two horses can run together, and it's going to feel very nice, and it's going to feel very satisfying. Instead, he's like, I'm going to try to break this horse, and he doesn't want to be broken himself. So it's like, why don't you just be horses together, and just trust like the process, trust the naturalness of like this unfolding. But instead it's like he wants to break the horse, and the horse is going to, of course, like run, and he knows that from his own nature, but he's still trying to like apply it to you here in the situation. And again, it's those underhanded methods of like, and so I feel like the Pluto here needs to be integrated. There needs to be a healing of this space of saying, I'm not my dad, actually, this guy's a lot like his mom. But I think he's afraid that you are more like his mom, that you're weak and you have no agency. That's what I was trying to say with the horse yonis. Horse yonis have agency. They're independent. They're actually really hard to tie down. Not necessarily, like, they'll date you, but it's like, and they can be loyal, but they like their freedom. They like their independence. So it actually makes them a lot more trustworthy, And again, all of this feels like very driven by God, by spirit, because the horse yonis are healer energies, and they're viewed as being like doing God's work here upon the earth. And I feel like God's trying to like heal this kind of like family dynamic or this family system here, like between these two. And again, I think this masculine energy finds you to be very, like, I'm hearing breathtaking, just like everything. But again, there's this like feeling like Max from the Goofy movie. Like, of course you could never like me, unless I control you. I can't just leave well enough alone. And he's internalized something that doesn't actually come from him. It comes from his family. And I don't think there was a lot of directness or talking about certain things like directly. It was just left under the ground to kind of like fester. And I also feel like this step parent is underhanded. And they needed to be held in check. And it would have been great if you could have seen a strong person stand up to that energy, even if they like fell prey to it before. So he himself maybe cheats with somebody. Like, here's how he could potentially be sabotaging. He could step out on his own family. That's certain. He could just not end up building a family, even though, or like something normal, like his own version of a family, like, having like, I'm hearing that barn happy horse, like not just having like his own barn that he goes to and he actually feels replenished from in the heart space, just not having that. And instead choosing a life of like skullduggery or like that plutonic strategizing energy. Cause I'm not going to be that way. I'm not going to be taken a fool from. I'm going to be the taker. It's like that. So he could be cheating with somebody who has actually built a family, because he likes to, he likes to make other men feel like impotent or feel like he's usurping on something. That's what he thinks power is. It's warped. It's fucked in the mind. So he could be doing that. He could have destroyed a family to create his own family. All of this is Pluto warping the mind. Okay. So he doesn't see that he's the saboteur in this situation, and that he's actually like much more like this mother energy. And I'm kind of getting like, I'm picturing like a 50s housewife that's like, okay, who wants puppy chow? Like, after they just kind of fell prey to their own weaknesses, nobody held them accountable. And it's like, if I just smile and if I'm just nice and if I just make this puppy chow, then everybody's going to sweep it under the rug. Nobody's going to hold me accountable. Nobody's going to get mad because I'm just a sweet little lady. Like, so this masculine could well be funny. Also, like, with that selfish song, sometimes I don't know why I do this, but it's like, yeah, I'm shellfish. So, again, that's that Cancer energy. Maybe somebody here is a Cancer, or you could have like making a connection in Cancer between like personal planets is what I'm hearing. Or I think there's something about humor, right? Cancer is an energy that likes to move side to side. Got me moving side to side, right? It likes to move side to side in order to like, it's not direct. There's something here that needs to be handled directly, but things in this masculine family were like skirted around. And so, and humor might be a way to do that. Instead of, and the other thing is, I am picturing like the two of you, and it's like he's being funny, or he's like trying to let other people usurp him. He thinks he's in control, and really these other people have controlled everything, and really his own psyche is what's controlling everything in a way that he doesn't understand. But you're making all these jokes, or you're like kind of skirting around things, but I'm just seeing somebody like lean in and kiss somebody and like kind of take it out of the realm of the mind, take it out of the realm of moving like side, instead just go directly for it. And again, it's like, I feel like this masculine energy needs to admit that he's jealous. Yeah, I'm selfish. I guess I'm selfish. Like, he just needs to lean into that part of himself and trust it. And that's what's going to integrate it. It's like, you have the power to destroy me. That's what Pluto is. Something that has the power to destroy something else is what like owns it. Yeah, it's like, you're the owner of my heart. Yeah. So it's like, he just needs to like accept this, but instead he's fighting it because he's fighting his own destruction because he thinks it's going to be the end of him. And that's just like the ego, and it will be, but it's going to Phoenix. With you, it's going to Phoenix. Okay. But if because I can see that you're, again, like, you're the match. You're like the two horse yonis, and God is like, I know that this is going to be hard for you to overcome. So I've given you everything that you need. Yes, your partner is beautiful. Yes, they're fun. Yes, they're everything. Look at that. It's not a trick. It's not a trick. And they're nothing like this other parent who was so weak, and then nobody could hold them accountable because they're just too nice, or they're just too charismatic, or they're just, because everything that they do is like in the shadows and can't be like pinpointed down. This person's not allergic to accountability. So like he needs to get over himself is like really what I'm getting. Otherwise he's going to ruin this, and he's potentially going to be, he's going to create, because he's a very powerful manifester, he's going to create a situation where he's on the outside looking in at his heart, potentially like building their own life, their own family with someone else. This person would never have done that to this masculine, and he needs to get that straight in his own head. Had he not have messed around in the space, never would have happened. The only way that he could have created that situation that this person would have fallen prey to that is if he put it that way. So his biggest fear of seeing this person like move on with someone else, that's actually going to happen. But it's all going to be above board because this person is above board. They're not the saboteur. He is. And he entertains them. And he's going to align himself with saboteur energy. So again, he could, from that place, just be interloping with people who have actually like created their heart or are trying to. So he's just going to desecrate the temple, disrespect that space, horrible karma, yikes. Maybe become a step parent to somebody else, thinking that that's cool and that that's strong. Not seeing that anybody who's going to do that, if they do it with you, they'll do it to you. So not seeing that, in fact, he's created his family with a saboteur. And potentially then that person's going to go step out on him. And then he's going to be on the outside kind of like looking at his quote unquote like family where somebody else could just like usurp because it's all built on power games. There's always going to be somebody stronger or better than you. It needs to be formed on love. And that's what these two originally had. And he needs to trust the power of love, the binding power of love. And like the virtuous nature, I think of a female. I think it's a female here that's actually all the things that masculine energy, like in the folklores, like the heroes and stuff, like I think it's actually a female that directly stands opposite his mother. Like they're both probably very nice, maybe very beautiful, very desirable partners. One of them has an incredible weakness and doesn't ever hold themselves accountable and views themselves at the whim of life and at the whim of everybody's and gets a lot of their self-identity from how attractive they are. Like they don't think that they're doing anything wrong when they fall prey to their own weaknesses or something like that. Maybe they think that love belongs to the person who like fights for it and who is the strongest. Well, this other person doesn't believe that. They believe in building love. You put your heart into something. Well, your heart is mine to protect. And they're just as protective over this masculine and his heart and his family as they are of their own. So they rival each other here. One is very virtuous, more of that masculine hero energy than most men. They're so separate. And he needs to see in himself the saboteur. He needs to fix that in his psyche and then fix it in his life. Otherwise, he's going to be living this out in one of the ways that I described. He's going to bind himself to a saboteur, but it's somebody that he either thinks that he can, I feel like this is a masculine who dates people that he thinks he can control because he doesn't feel that pull towards them. So it makes him feel safe and he's not safe that way. Right? It's not love that any of this is built on, or he feels at the whim of somebody else because maybe they have a family. And so he's made to shirk around that family. Potentially he creates a situation where he is the father looking like his own father, looking in on some kind of family, and because he's having an affair with somebody here, but they won't ever be with him because he takes second fiddle to like actually the family. And in a way that whoever he's having an affair with could potentially be teaching him like, look, this is what it looks like to not have somebody mess your family up. They don't have the virtue that the correct partner has at all. They're the saboteur and nothing that they have in this family is real. But they are preserving the family. And so he's seeing that on like both ends of like, well, he's not in control. That's what he needs. He's trying to control and maneuver around the heart space, maybe around a traditional space, maybe around a family. But he's going to find himself very alone and like on the outside looking in of something. And all of this is like warped and distorted. So he's not able to see who these people are clearly because he can't see himself clearly. He's the saboteur. He's actually he's the damsel. He's the damsel in this. And he's just entertaining the saboteur energy because he's like, I'm just so desirable. Whoops, I let somebody interlope on my family space. Oopsie daisy. Like, you're a protector. Arm up. Like, what are you doing? So he needs to fix that. He needs to fix that within himself. And if and until he does, and this is going to be a huge initiation for him as well, because this is an initiation card. And that's how the kaleidoscope stops shifting and moving. I also feel like there could be black and white thinking here. And much like Justin Timberlake with Britney Spears, how he's so mean to her for no reason. Like, sir, you did all the mean stuff to her, okay? And she's had a really hard go of it. And that very well could be mirrored in your situation because he couldn't spine up. And now she's got to suffer. And like, she went through all this stuff, but then he hates her. Like, I'm picturing him on the stage after Brittany like made that tweet of like, well, I'm sorry if I hurt anybody in my book, because she always takes the high road. She really does. And then he was just like, I would like take this moment to apologize to absolutely effing nobody. Like that strikes me as this masculine. Like he's mad at this feminine. And he's taking this like pissant approach that he thinks is strong. Like he needs, for the love of God, this masculine needs like a strong role model, somebody. And I actually think it's actually his girl. I think it's actually this female that's like stronger than he could ever be. And he needs to strive to be like her and to be with her and to be like a match for her. But instead, he's like not. And keep in mind, like the genders on this can be flipped. Like this could all, but I think the reason it's coming through and I'm seeing this masculine energy is because it's with the doing principle. There's something amiss here, like with the doing energy. Because when you can't see clearly, your actions are not succinct. They are not, again, masculine energy, straightforward, very matter of fact. I want this, I'm going after this. I guess I'm jealous. I guess I'm selfish with your energy. And he feels jealous and selfish here. And he feels on the outside looking in. I feel like he's creating a life where he's on the outside looking in. And maybe that's the one thing that he never wanted to be, is on the outside looking in. Just like his dad was on the outside looking in. And he could maybe sense the sadness or something in his dad. But all these things within him, his unwillingness to look at his psyche and his fears and just to treat people well. And this is another thing that I feel like the Pluto is trying to teach in this situation here is morality is not frivolous. Morality is not a flourish of life. It's very pragmatic. It's very practical. When you have values, and this masculine clearly has some kind of like Cancerian values that are traditional, that are of the heart space, that are like maybe very family oriented, and you make decisions, you stick the landing on those values, you will make the right decisions and you will choose the right partner. And this is the one thing he couldn't do because he couldn't integrate his inner saboteur, because he felt like his inner saboteur and maneuvering around people and having this like scuzzy, dark, hidden, this feels like bar scene. It feels like bottom of the barrel, hanging out. People that might look pretty, might look alluring, bottom of the barrel kinds of humans, like entertaining that in him. Yeah, and I'm seeing Scar. You know that your powers of pretension are sick as a warthog's backside. Like, he became Scar, basically. And it's a shame, because he's Simba. He's meant to return to Pride Rock and take back over the land, like, for goodness. And the other thing, and I know that I'm just saying this for my husband because my husband teaches me about things and, was teaching me how like hyenas are actually really cool animals. Like they have these matriarchal systems and stuff. Like it's all very cooperative. And actually, did you know lions are, a lot of times the scavengers of like the hyena kill? But anyways, like pretend like none of that's real. Why is our world backwards? Like at every turn, like it just bothers me. Anyways, but like lions are symbol of like, regality, right? And nobility, like in a person. So you see like Mufasa and you see Simba, they are kings among lions. They have the respect of lions. But then you see Scar and he has to be like gross. He doesn't fit in with the lions. And so therefore he has to like these like hyenas that are like all cackling and in the Shadowlands. He has to like take over them in order to be accepted by the lions, by the nobles. So this is taking something by force and by not integrating your Pluto, not integrating that and saying like wherever I kind of like fit in here. So that's like what's going on here. And I feel like he's kind of been that way of like, well, I'm going to make friends with hyenas and these saboteur energies in order to try to manipulate lions instead of becoming a lion myself. The lion I was always meant to be. Remember who you are, right? Like this like Simba energy of remember who you are. And if this is my home and if I don't fight for it, who will? This is my heart. And if I don't fight for it, who will? This is my family. If I don't fight for it, who will? Like, and I think it's because he's afraid he's weak and he's afraid that he might have something to lose and that he won't be able to defend it. But again, it's like a child's mind not understanding the complexity in adult relationships, that maybe dad was working too much because there needed to be communication in this family unit that there wasn't. And maybe it was like such a strict adherence to gender roles that the father was like, well, what do you mean? Like, I just go out and I do everything right. And so this masculine saw that and was like, he did everything right and look where that got him. And this man did everything wrong and look where that got him. You see? So really the issue was communication here, because mom and dad, I think, loved each other very much and should have like been together and should have been able to talk about certain things, right? Unless the relationship was built on manipulation in and of itself. But I feel like it goes one way or the other. And it was a weakness, I think, in mom, to be honest with you. I mean, again, these genders take them as they're resonating, but it feels like in mom, in a parent that is very jovial and seems like, well, they're not malicious. They might not be malintended, but they have their own fears, right? That becomes a weakness, and they control your whole life, right? You try to stuff them down, but they become your whole life. So it could have been mom was insecure because dad's always working and she doesn't trust that he's working. So she wants attention, and she's gonna, you know what I'm saying? It's like there's something here like this. So, okay, let me just pull. Yeah, I feel like there is, and I feel like so this also manifests in a Pluto where the person that you're drawn into, like this masculine, okay? But this could be you that I'm describing. It's just like the masculine side. Take this out, resonates. The person he's looking in on is maybe very Queen of Swords. Didn't do what mom did. This person got very strong. They made a decision. They had that backbone of nobility. They were actually protecting their heart, and they were protecting their family, even if there was not a family to protect yet. They were like that kind of ferocious, because this person had value, inner value. They were kind of building themselves, and they recognized this like saboteur energy. They're proving that they're not like this nasty parent, like the whole way. They're showing that they're noble. They're showing that they're a lion, like this whole time, right? But I feel like now this person is like, get away from me. Like, you know, where they should be, again, that Cancer space, that soft space, that warm space. Now, instead, they're very much like, back up, get off me. All of this he's manifested because he can't integrate his own Pluto, his own psyche, his own shadow side. Yeah, so, interesting. So this is like waiting on an opportunity, right? Like okay, and then look, the eagle. So I actually think that this masculine has maybe leveled up from like that scorpionic energy, tit for tat. Okay, and again, like I think this has to do with the jealousy. I guess I'm selfish. I'm jealous, like, right? He doesn't want to be jealous, and he feels that as a threat instead of like, oh, I actually really care about this person. Why don't I play ball? Why don't I freaking act right? So I feel like he's leveled up to the eagle here. And then look, this is the somebody here could be, I just heard like a gearhead, or like into engines or motorcycles. I just saw a different version of this card with the motorcycle on it. So Knight of Swords. Again, like, look at this argumentative kind of energy, and he has the symbol of like the cross, the Christian, and competition. This is all playing out in this masculine's. And if you don't deal with your Pluto on the inside, in your psyche, where it exists, all these like hidden, buried fears, you play it out in the external world, and all of this is happening, and it's going to have him lose. It's going to have him lose until he connects with this Knight of Pentacles energy. He may need to go independent here. He may need to move away from something here, and it's one foot in front of the other, and it's building an upright existence. And yeah, I'm hearing that man, I won't hurt you, that man is gone. Yeah. Because look, I mean, it's just, he's going to get caught here in his own, he thinks he's sneaking around. He thinks he's controlling the situation here. And really he's going to have to tucker himself out, I think. Also, I'm just hearing like he's fighting with himself, because this feminine energy, or again, switch the genders, but like, isn't playing. It's just like, what is going on? Like, doesn't understand. You weren't in the business of fixing others. I just saw that. He doesn't see anything wrong with it. It's like this person's not thinking morally, even though I think they have it in them too. And I think that's something that they really value. When it comes to their behavior, because their Pluto is so active and it's not looked at and it's ran from, because the fear, it's like they're just so afraid of their own weakness. I'm literally seeing Max from the Goofy movie when it starts off with that nightmare, you know, where he likes, what's her name? The girl dog, and that Roxanne, he likes her. And he has that dream of like trying to go after her, but then all of a sudden his teeth grow really big and he like turns into his dad and the bump comes out of his head until he like yucks like Goofy. So they're not even thinking morally. I actually think it hurts this masculine to not be moral, but I just don't think he's been moral at all. This is how powerful Pluto is. And you don't look at it directly. You don't connect the dots directly because you're refusing to look at the thing that like you need to. Yeah. And then I just looked up and saw Janae's comment. It says shadow boxing like a mug. And I heard the Kelly Clarkson song that says like shadow boxing the other half, learning how to react. So I think this feminine energy here, you potentially in this, you've learned how to react. Like this person is fighting you in a sense. They're acting more like your enemy because they're strategizing around you. And it's like instead of healing this masculine turned this into a dagger and like stabbed you with it. And you're like, whoa, and you don't understand. All of this for the crime of liking him, you know, or like being interested in him or like feeling this like connection. He made you suffer because he couldn't accept the fears of himself. Like he needed to actually take on the fear of like, I'm going to build my family. And frankly, the fear of having that fall apart should keep him in line. Well, I'm not going to be ruining it. Like, let me focus on my own behavior. I don't want you to ruin it. I'm not going to ruin it either. Like kind of keeping this like in check. But instead, he offloaded, he displaced it. And he put all of his plutonic fears into you. This masculine may be very rude to you and thinking that you're the problem when he's the problem and blaming you and thinking that you're weak or like you're like their mom or something. And they're like their mom. Like, so instead, they made sure you felt what they were afraid that they are most afraid to feel. They made sure you felt it. Ugh. And yeah, and now I'm hearing shadow boxing the other half, learning how to react. So they put you very much in a reaction. And I feel like you were confused. You were like, at first you were curious, but I feel like you were like, whoa, like I missed something here and you did. And it's this deep insecurity, this deep fear. And he is not communicating. There could have been a lot of humor in this family, this family system. And it was just to skirt around issues. It wasn't as like we all are funny and we like to like, it was to skirt around issues and to diffuse emotions and to not have to deal with the powerful emotions that were like coming up here. Yeah. It's not a good sign if this, if you're actually connecting via this I'm just picturing he needs to lean in and kiss you. And if he doesn't do that, he's in this like game playing mentality. I skirt with humor. I skirt with humor too. A lot of people do. It's a resiliency. Humor is one of like the 8 resiliencies that we learned about in psych. There's a lot of different systems. So the 5 resiliencies, the 11, I just learned the 8. That's a system that I like. I'm not trying to, sometimes people get fixated on weird little details here. That could be another thing too. It's like fixated on weird little details, but these little details are warped in this masculine's mind. And they are accusing you of doing what they're actually doing. So anything else? I just keep hearing that song Selfish by Justin Timberlake. He needs to just surrender to this. Yeah, I mean, he's creating tower moments. He's going to ruin this relationship. And, really, like, he wants to move forward. He wants to, like, heal this. I feel like he's seeing this now. Like, this might be the transit for him, like, in February. He's going to see this. Or, again, if this is a part of your psyche, maybe you had a dad that, like, left. You know what I'm saying? Like these things, they're not like so matchy, right? But you could have had a dad that left and then you could have blamed your mom or something. Yeah. Judgment. There's certain things that are being unearthed here. But I feel like this masculine would have, cause he's built his life on shaky ground. And so it's something here is going to have a tower. So if they built, if they didn't build with you, then they built with a saboteur that they couldn't see clearly. And that's going to come crashing down. It could have been because of, there was like an affair or something, manipulation. Yeah. Pouring out the cup. Like, I feel like this masculine has to admit defeat. He's got to wave a white flag here that he doesn't understand so that he can finally heal. He also needs to come to terms with the fact that he has really hurt you. He's really broken your heart. He's been, and potentially he's just a heartbreaker because he, like to other people, and I'm not even talking about romantically, because he's just so afraid of being seen as weak or being taken down or something that he doesn't actually, because courage is being afraid but doing the thing anyway. That's what courage is. And this man doesn't respect courage when he sees it. He just kind of looks at things through black and white. You lost and you won. Instead of saying that was very courageous and that was her weakness. I feel like this masculine needs to have this talk with his dad, like even in his own mind. Dad could have passed on is what I'm hearing. And that's also a part of like what's potentially like helping this come through. But it's like, I recognize now that you weren't weak in the way that I thought. You weren't just the loser like of the situation. That's black and white thinking. You were actually strong. You were actually courageous. And you like, I feel like there's a lot of valor coming in from like one of these parents, one of these of like, no, it was hard. You did the hard thing, even though it was difficult. You know, you still always showed up. You still like whatever. And I feel like this other parent, even if they ended up with a saboteur, they always wanted the original parent or something like that, like because they were everything. And maybe they didn't realize that till after they were gone or something like that. They didn't know what they had. But I feel like this masculine is kind of needing to see this, and needing to be courageous and say, like, whatever happens, I go after what I want. I follow my heart. I protect my heart. And for damn sure, anybody who is associated with me and who is in my family or is around me or who is in my home or who is in my heart, for damn sure that person is not going to be betrayed. For damn sure that's not going to happen. Because I set the tone. That's what I'm hearing. Because I set the tone for behavior that goes on around me. And if this is how I want my family to be, then I'm going to lead that. I'm going to lead that. All right. Yeah, then, and look, that leads to the Lovers and the Ten of Pentacles. But there's a clinging to this that he needs to see clearly. He's just afraid. So, yeah, and in reality, he chooses people who he, on a subconscious level, knows that he's knows are gonna betray him. Either, again, it goes one or both ways. Somebody that he knows is a betrayer because he's cheated with them, so they're not hiding who they are. But it's just that psyche of like, well, I want to be the stepdad, you know, like so that I have a sense of power over my life, you know. But really, it's a very weak position to be in, or being with somebody, and potentially this is somebody who cheats. So they'll have one of these people and then they'll always have another one of these people on the side, but they're absolutely, the thing that they're not doing is living up to any one of their own values here, any one of them. So this is a very, and I'm hearing this masculine has very low self-esteem as well, because it's like, if you want to have self-esteem, do esteemable things. This eludes this masculine. He doesn't want to do esteemable things because where does that get you? That gets you cheated on. So he would rather be the cheat than actually stand up for what's right and have the satisfaction of, at least I'm not as low as you. You know what I'm saying? Like, at least I'm strong enough to not do that shit. At least I control myself, right? He's got this all backwards in his mind where the strength is. So he's manifested from a place of weakness, and that's all he's ever going to get reflected back at him. He's going to create these situations, these family dynamics. He's going to recreate them. Instead of being the cycle breaker he was meant to, he's going to recreate them where he feels impotent. So some of you, this is what you were dealing with. And for others of you, maybe this is like kind of playing out here in your own psyche. So we'll just see what Spirit has to say. And then we're going to move on to pile number 2. But I'm going to take a little bathroom break first. Right? Do the little things. They build momentum. Exactly. It's healthy, attractive. Yeah, because that's the other thing. I think he's made him unattractive to the person who expects him to be a protector of their heart and of their relationship and their home and their family. Look, change. The winds of change and perseverance. Yeah, he can change this. He just needs to apply himself, because it's built a weakness. It's like a muscle that he hasn't used. It's like he's been sitting on the couch, maybe for real. But it's like he's been sitting on the couch, like in this regard. So that in the ways that he wants to be, his muscles have atrophied. So he's got to dedicate him to change and to persevering over it. And he needs to use his regret as that fuel, because there's a lot of regret here. It's going to be a lot. And potentially he needs to do service work. And I'm kind of getting like big brothers, big sisters. What he needs to do is he needs to start being a friend. I'm literally getting like a friend to the family, because he may have destroyed several and thought that was cute. It's not. So he needs to like participate in like building broken families, like maybe through service work or something like that. Like that's something that's going to build him up, and where he's going to start again, like with that momentum. He needs to hear from like other children. I think it's a way for him to hear his inner child, like hearing other children tell their stories about like what it did to them when their families came crashing down, because he became the thing that he hated. That's what I'm getting, or that's the path that he's on. Okay, so we'll just get messages. I know that we're spiritually connected. Yeah. Pluto's in Scorpio, and you said you saw that. Yeah. Yes. And then Heather just said he ain't coming back to my life ever. See, he's created an enemy out of somebody that is like his love. Like, why? He's creating enemies of the wrong people, and he's associating with the wrong people because he's got strength and valor and what's cool in the wrong place. I'm not the same person. Yeah, good. He feels like, I don't want to let you go. I miss being with you. I hope to have a future with you one day. Yeah, so I think he knows what he's done here. And he doesn't want to be the same person. I have to deal with my pain to be able to open my heart to love again. But I just read, like, I have to deal with my pain. This person has created pain, like, in their existence, in their life. I'm working on myself each day so I can come back to you. I'm lost. I don't know what to do. I fear you will never forgive me. Yeah, he's made his bed. I feel like he understands. I actually think that these are the winds of change. Like in this transit that's potentially going on, this masculine starting to realize that he's the problem and that he has run some people off. He is seeing that and he is wanting to make the changes. But again, he's afraid that it's unfixable. But he needs to focus on himself. And I'm hearing focus on yourself and then focus on the family. So he may well have kids and he needs to be protecting their heart because I think he's created a situation where now these kids are potentially seeing him in the position that his father was once in. Again, biggest fear. And he's like created it because he's chosen to partner with the wrong person. And this continues, this like toxic family cycle or something. So he needs to understand his kid's heart and his kid's psyche. And he needs to go to work there, like making sure that they're maybe have therapy, that they're processing, that they understand like what real strength is, what valor is. And that also that they need to speak directly. This is a family that really needs direct communication and needs to learn how to talk to each other. And he needs to arm his children with that ability. So afraid it's unfixable, maybe. That's a consequence. Fix yourself. Exactly. And like he doesn't get to like run around it. And potentially, again, I think that he might be trying to it can't work with you for that to happen and then like for him to come back because I think that's what he saw mom do. Well, I'm just really sorry. And it's like, fix yourself. Somebody needed to tell one of his parents to fix yourself. Okay, you're sorry and the doe eyes and the puppy chow. Thank you. This is emotionally unintelligent. This is emotionally immature. It will not be going on any longer. Fix yourself. And I'm hearing like the buck kind of stops with you. So anyways, okay, I'm going to go to the bathroom and then we're going to go to pile number 2, break. right. So I could have very well put my lip gloss on while I was still on break, but I wanted to do this in front of you guys because I have other lip glosses, okay? Like, just to be absolutely clear. But I just like the color of that one. So this one doesn't taste bad, right? And I started laughing when I pulled this out today because I was like, listen, I need to show people that I don't just have this trash ass lip gloss. Like, I have other things too, okay? So, but what I do whenever I wear this kind, so this, like, I put this on, it tastes just fine, right? Okay, so like I do this. This is me doing like a beauty review. So first you do that. And then, so then I like take the gloss on top of it, okay? But what made me laugh is because this is trash, okay? Like, it's actually good and it's from like a really good brand, but it's like really like tacky. It doesn't have a taste, but it's like tacky and sticky in a way that I super hate. And this is another one where I realized I try not to wear this like when I feel like I'm gonna be loved on. Like I try to like wear it when I'm out, and I was like, what is wrong with me? Like, why do I just only, is this a common experience? Like, do we all just have lip glosses where it's like, okay, this tastes like absolute butt, okay? But like, it's the color I want. And this one, it like feels horrible to put on, but yeah, I'm still gonna use it because I'm cheap. Oh, thank you. I love the phrase trash act. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, I gotta hold it up to the camera. Okay, so this is the one that I do. Not just trash, but also an ass. Okay. I just want you to know I do have other things, okay? But if you have a brand that somehow tastes good, feels fine, and also looks cute, like if you just put that in the comments, am I the only one having this experience? If I fall into a coma, please put lipstick on me. That reminds me of Girl Interrupted, when like they used to give them the shocks and they would all paint each other's nails like when they were done. Tastes like absolute butt. That's my impression of me doing like a beauty review. Okay, so we are taking a descent here. All right, so I just wanted you guys to know that. All right, moving on here to pile number 2, the hunter. So remember how I was saying, like, I think this is like, okay, pile number 1's kind of like an overview, and then we've got pile number 2 and pile number 3. Okay, so that's kind of like what I'm getting with the hunter. And I feel like one of the things about your Pluto here, if you're resonating with pile number 2, is that what you've buried is the horse yoni. Oh my gosh, there's a horse here. Yeah. So what is buried in your Pluto? So you could have a fear of this, of being different. Like, okay, so horse yonis, they can be very sexual, and they cannot fit within the bounds of like traditional society, like what society tells us to be, right? Like very independent, freedom loving. But horse yoni people can, where they have this very strong in their chart, they can be attractive in a way that stands out to other people, and they're usually, again, like roguish, maybe freedom loving, hard to pin down, independent, right? So again, that's that Cancer Sun energy, where, but you've like kind of stuffed this down, where you think, okay, no, it's not acceptable for me to be this way, or this isn't how I get love and attention, right? Because the things that we stuff into our shadow, it tends to be the things that like we're not praised by our culture or our families, right? So yeah, this got like pushed down. So there's kind of a chain going on here. Like I'm hearing a chain reaction. See how like this horse, oh my gosh, it's the Pluto. It literally is the Pluto and the sun energy. Remember I was seeing like the Cancer Sun, and then like that Pluto energy kind of like maneuvering around it. So there's a bit of a chain that's going on here, okay? And I'm kind of seeing like a feminine energy who is kind of like different, has managed, there's somebody here, okay, who's more integrated than the others. I'm hearing one of these things is not like the others. So it's more integrated. It's like they managed to be like regal, and they managed to like kind of fit in within like societal norms or something. And then, but they're different as well. Like they stand out and they're comfortable in that place, right? Thank you so much, Tasha, for the super chat. And you're welcome. So it's like they're more integrated. And then I feel like then we've got a masculine energy who is very similar, like matches, like has like his own, you know, horse yoni, but feels like it's a bad thing, or like feels like she won't accept it or understand it, when in reality, this is where they kind of meet, and it's through integrating his own horse yoni energy that he becomes a match, and like they can kind of run together, right? So I think he knows it's there though, because there's somebody who knows it's there, but tries to hide it, or control it, or like only have it come out in appropriate ways, or, you know, something here like that. There's somebody like that. And then I feel like there's somebody watching that person, that's the saboteur energy that we were picking up on, that doesn't feel like they stand out. I'm hearing the word frumpy, like this is kind of coming from their own psyche. So they think that they're like frumpy or uninteresting. They don't stand out in a crowd, and that's how they view themselves, right? That they don't have that quality within them. So because they're feeling so lacking, they've readily attached onto, I think this is this masculine here, who has that horse quality, but doesn't accept it fully. So therefore it's like more vulnerable. And that's what draws them in, is because they want to be seen as like being with this masculine energy, because he stands out. And that's their only way. It's like living vicariously through him, or like it's very codependent. It's very, it's also incorrect because you don't get to ever, it's very unstable to try to latch on to anything, people, anything like for your own value and self-identity that's like outside of yourself. That's like an unstable thing. And then it creates this plutonic energy around it. So it's like they're obsessing maybe about this masculine energy. Flip the genders. This is just the way it's coming through, and I'm going to confuse myself. I mean for this reading to be inclusive, but just help me out on that front because otherwise I'm going to get confused. But so they attach onto that masculine's energy because they themselves want to be seen in that similar light of being independent or free or desirable or like untamable or something. But they view power as being able to control that masculine energy. So for some of these people, I feel like they don't feel that they're attractive, like in that same way. They don't feel like they dazzle. They don't feel like they stand out. But for others of these people, I'm kind of picturing a tiger yoni. And the tiger yonis are very attractive. They're the kind of people that everybody just kind of naturally looks at whenever like they go into the room, and it's just like, I'm so attractive that everybody wants me. But horse yonis aren't really of that speed, you know, and they don't go together. Like they're both attractive in their own way, a horse yoni and a tiger yoni, but they don't go together like at all. But I'm picturing this tiger wanting to take down the horse, almost like a trophy kill. And they want to control the horse because it makes them feel attractive about themselves, and they might feel slighted or some type of way because the horse just like wants to move on. So they want it like the hooks in, getting the hooks in kind of an energy, right? So they're attaching, and what they're trying to get their hooks into is that horse yoni energy. It's like, oh, you want to leave? You want to be free? You want to be independent? I don't think so. So they could try to bind themselves here to this masculine energy or try to be seen with this, but it's all plutonic because it's coming from this place of secrecy, maneuvering, control, power. Like they don't want this horse to be free. And this is happening to this masculine's Pluto. And what he's shoved down there in his Pluto is this horse yoni energy that he has. And I think it's his masculine side. So I'm wondering if there's some kind of like, he has a masculine planet like his sun or his Mars in maybe Ashwini or Shatabishak, like Aries or Aquarius. But then it would be like in the 8th house or something like that, in a dark house, in a buried house, or it's obscured by something else, you know, something here like that, because he's not owning it. So people are attacking it basically. And they're trying to control him, which he hates. And they're trying to do that to draw his attention to this Pluto. It's lighting up the Pluto here. And people may well have a very conscious planet like their sun, like their Venus, like their Mercury, a conscious, very conscious planet, right where he's got his, this like buried Ashwini energy or whatever, because they can see it very clearly. But because he refuses and he hopes that people don't see it, then it's like affecting everything, right? So you see what's going on here between these two people. And look, he's locked out of the union with somebody that he wants over here. So see how it's like a train? It's a little train. And again, I think he finds himself in a position where homegirl, or like, again, flip the genders, homegirl's like holding a very strong boundary. He can't get in. He's feeling how trustworthy she is because she's integrated her Pluto. He's feeling maybe how hard it is to tie her down. Because again, there could have been a lot going on. Again, I'm seeing that Cancer sun, and then like the Scorpio is like pushed down. So all he sees in, because he's disowned his own Pluto, all he can see in the person that he's trying to go after is like that Cancerian energy. So this could be very gendered, where he just says, well, look, like that feminine energy wants the family. He didn't bother to get to know this person, right? Somebody here didn't bother to actually get to know somebody else because they just stuff everybody in a category over things like as shallow as like gender, you know, or this could be cultural. So it could be like, oh, you're Muslim and you're very traditional because you wear the hijab or whatever. So that means that you're XYZ and that you want XYZ. They're just filling in the blanks as if it's like moving everything around, like one size fits all. Oh my gosh. And then I'm hearing from The Swan Princess. I really want to watch that movie. That was one of my favorite Disney movies when I was a kid. But I think the prince's name in that is Derek. It might be Eric, but I think that I'm switching that up with like The Little Mermaid. But I'm pretty sure it's Derek. And so him and the Swan Princess, Odette, they grow up together because they're like betrothed. But they show this montage of him like treating her very badly. You know, it's like, ew, girls stink. And like he's in the clubhouse with all of his friends. And it's like, haha, like they would pull the ladder up and stuff and like make fun of her. And then they like kind of start to grow up. And so then she, you know, she's coming to the castle and he's like, ugh, Odette, like what a loser. she's going to come here. And then all of a sudden she's a grown ass woman. And it's like, whoa, like puberty has strucketh thee, you know? And he's like, just like kind of fixated on her. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, hi, this or that. And so like they kind of start to have like a thing for each other. But at one point she asks him, because she just wants to make sure that he's not just enamored with her appearance and he actually like likes her. And she was like, but you don't just like me for my appearance, right? And he goes, what else is there? And then the next scene is him like in his chambers with like the old advisor guy. And he's like, what else is there? The advisor is like just appalled that he said that. And he was like, you should write a book called How to Offend Women in 10 Words or Less. So I feel like this masculine energy, again, it's this like one size fits all of like women like this or women like that. And he's very attracted here to somebody. I hope this reading is making sense. Somebody here's very attracted to somebody else and they think that's all it is. All it is like a sexual attraction instead of like that heart energy. And remember, like that sun energy is the sun energy is like warm and it's jovial and it's playful and it creates kind of a gravity. But it's also like built on philosophy. Like I feel like there's a connection here where it's like it's heart centered. That's what's creating the gravity. There's a warmth. It feels really nice to be around this person, like even more so than just sexual. And again, I feel like this is unusual. And I'm getting this coming from the masculine side of things. But again, this could be you. And it could be because the reason that I'm picking up on these masculine energies may well be that you've stuffed like your own masculine doing energy into your Pluto. And that's why it's coming up as like embodying a man. Or you could have a fear of a man like this. Or this is who you were dealing with. And like you're scared to kind of like look at this situation. So again, like kind of link this back as to like what's going on here with this like Pluto. Why have I stuffed this down into my subconscious? What am I afraid of? What am I afraid of here? Like I feel like that's a big question. So there's actually like this heart-centered pull of like we share the same philosophies. It feels really nice to be around you. I actually enjoy myself around you. This is so much more than like what it is that I've experienced in the past. So I need to, again, like I don't want to ruin it. So I'm going to hide my like freedom and my independence because you don't want that. But they didn't even bother to ask you what you wanted or to get to know you because again, it feels like unfamiliar here, like to this person, this like masculine energy or something like that. But I feel like the part that I'm really supposed to be honing in on here is like this hunter energy because there's somebody else like hunting this horse, Yoni. And it feels to me like a tiger, like I'm seeing a tiger kind of come out there of like, oh no, you're going to find me attractive. Everybody finds me attractive, right? There's that person after this, what I think is a masculine energy. But there's also somebody else who feels completely divorced from their own. Like they don't feel desirable. I'm hearing they kind of know that and they want to rival themselves. Like the only way for them to feel that way is to take down this masculine, try to get their hooks in, try to control. They want to build that Cancerian energy. They want to build the family, but they want to make him. They want to, he doesn't want them naturally. And this is apparent, like to both of these people, whoever it is, that he's just going to go off on his merry way, like, because that's what he wants to do. Right. Or maybe this is you, but they just want to trap him somehow with their control and with their talons. And so there's another person here who, again, they feel completely devoid from their sensuality. They don't feel like they stand out. And then they potentially see this other person who just very naturally draws this masculine in because they're copacetic. Okay, it's not because one is necessarily better than the other, but what this masculine and this other feminine have in common, or they stand out in that like horse yoni kind of way, where they are kind of roguish or free or independent. And they're very different people. But it makes other people jealous because they want to maybe be seen in that light instead of getting to know themselves, connecting with that part of themselves. Because once they do that, I feel like that heals in them, and then they're not going after whoever these people are for these superficial reasons. So they want to control the masculine and then be with the masculine so society looks at them in a certain way. Ironically, it's like they want to have like kind of the family thing, but they want it to be like a different family kind of thing. Whereas I feel like these two people will just naturally create something that's different and interesting and unique between the two of them. But these other people don't have the ingredients because they're not also horses. They can build something else, but they want to build this. But it's out of a desire to be whole. Does that make sense? And then they see this other like lady horse over here and they want to compete with her. They want to be like, see, you're not special. You're not cute. I am, because I've stolen that from you because I stole him from you. It's like that. But you can't steal this energy it cannot be stolen. And I feel like part of the karma here is that whoever these people are, like this masculine, whatever, like they're all going to have to see that like nothing was taken here, like from this feminine energy. Or again, this could be a masculine energy. Like nothing was taken here. It can't be. It exists inside of a person. You have to like connect with your own lady horse. Yeah, like Leah just said, I'm the lady horse. I feel like a lot of you could be the lady horse, but it's like you're potentially confused why people have responded to you. It's because somebody here is trying to take something from you. And they think that by taking this masculine through games that he frankly just enjoys or lets them play because he's stupid. Sorry, that's just me being like hateful, but because I don't like this. I don't like that you're paying the price for everyone else, like everyone else's Pluto that they're not dealing with. See how I just refused to bury that? Anyways, oh look, and I feel like there's like some kind of tower moment that's potentially occurring is because it's like they can't steal anything from you. And I'm hearing Dorothy in my mind. If it was like, and if I ever go looking beyond my own backyard, I never really lost it to begin with. It's like, want the things that want you. And where you feel weak or insecure, you need to be dealing with that directly. So some of you, if you're after a masculine energy, for the reasons that I was saying, I feel like you're feeling that plutonic pull, okay? If you are somebody who's hunting a masculine that's like got this horse kind of energy, you don't want him, not really. And you don't want him for the right reasons. And all you can do is sabotage each other. So this is karmic energy between the two of you. You need to leave him alone, and you need to leave this other lady alone. Like, you need to leave them alone. And you need to go and hermit mode, and you need to do your shadow work, and you need to connect with your psyche. And what am I afraid of? What does it mean about me if this masculine energy up and leaves? It doesn't mean anything. It just means that that's like, it doesn't have to mean something bad about you. Like, especially if you're like that tiger yoni energy. It's like, everybody finds me so attractive. Why don't you? It's like, he just wants what he's a horse. He's not a tiger. He's a horse, and he wants another horse. And he likes to run in the pasture. You like to be in the tree, in the jungle. Like, it's just a horse and a tiger are different. That's all it has to mean. It's a neutral thing, right? So somebody here, again, that's that like plutonic nature of like, they get their self-identity from being able to control people, potentially with their sexuality. That's another Pluto thing. So for some of you, that's your plutonic element here. You're used to being able to control somebody with your sexuality. Why can't you control him? Because he's a horse and you're a tiger. It doesn't have to mean anything more than that. For others of you, it's like, I'm picturing somebody who feels like frumpy. They feel frumpy. They feel disconnected with their uniqueness, with their razzle-dazzle. Either this is a phase of your life that you're going through because maybe there was like an illness or there was a death or something ended, or like you're just feeling low about yourself. That could also be it. And then like you see this masculine energy who is like the horse, but he doesn't know it. So I think you feel there's something about the targeting here where it's like he doesn't know it, or he's feeling down, or he's feeling like low in his self-esteem or something like that. Or you meet him at a bar and his guard's down because he's drunk or something like that. He's low. You feel like he's wounded and you can take him down. And you see the way to do that. And so you feel like you can do that. And that's going to somehow Pluto transform your life. It's not. You're going to always have to, because it's not right between the two of you. You're always going to have to, again, be forever controlling or forever manipulative. It's going to repel, right? It's going to repel. Like, that's that plutonic energy. It's really, really attractive, but then it repels. So that there's something here like that. And I feel like this masculine energy may well repel you. Like, even when you think you get what it is that you want, you could just be like, this really isn't what I want. Because everybody here needs to be integrating their Pluto, if that makes sense. So the call for you, again, leave this masculine alone. It's not about him. Leave this feminine alone. Competing with her gives you nothing except for feeling hollow and except for feeling less than, because you're trying to be her when in reality, you should be trying to be you. You are a beautiful, wonderful person. Connect with your own power. Connect with your own uniqueness. That's what's going to transform the situation here. So everybody here, this is a call to healing. This is a call to healing. Everybody here needs to connect with their psyche, become whole people, and get where it is that you need to go. Be with a soulmate. All of you, be with a soulmate. Don't form bonds out of fear and out of feeling less than and feeling not worthy. Don't nurture that weakness in yourself. Don't encourage it in others. Don't try to embroil other people in your own dramas. Don't. You're just setting your own self back, because you can't betray another person without betraying yourself. You just can't. And I think you feel like you're sneaky. You want this masculine energy to look at you the way that he's looking at somebody else over here. It's just a trap. You can't win that way. And you think this is about what's going on in the world because you want some kind of status, and you feel like if you control who you're with and stuff in the external world, this needs to go inward. It needs to go to your psyche. It needs to go to your Pluto. I really feel like some of you, you're meant to look me right in the eye in this camera, and you're meant to hear me say, leave them alone. This isn't what you think it is. The power, you need to question the power that you're feeling. It doesn't come from them. You are looking at somebody that's bringing up a feeling inside of you of deep inadequacy. that is the enemy. That is, and you can fight the enemy, but you need to recognize that is the enemy within you. But it's like, because there's such a strong power, like an emotional response coming from within. And when that happens, you're looking out at this masculine energy. So you may well have seen this masculine energy interacting with this feminine sun energy, and it did something to you. And you thought, I'm less than because he likes her. No, you're not. He found a horse. You need to find a tiger, or whatever else it is that you are. Or you need to connect with something like within yourself. You need to be whole and worthy in and of yourself. If you're chasing after people, places, and things that don't want you, and you tell yourself like, oh, well, if I finally, catch them, then I'll be whole and then I'll be worthy. It's just never the way. It's never the way. This is why I push back on the twin flame rhetoric. We have to be examining our Pluto first and foremost. I'm not saying the twin flames exist or don't exist. Frankly, I don't know. And I think they do potentially. But I think that the people who are actually, you have to make sure that you're healthy in your energy. You have to make sure that it's not coming from a place of weakness or inadequacy. You have to make sure that your feelings are not coming from a place of control, where you're trying to plug up like your psyche, because people underestimate the power of lust and where lust comes from, because it can come from your Pluto and just, again, like feeling inadequate. And people underestimate Pluto and what exactly that means. It's the key to your transformation, but it's inside. So this is what this is meant to be focusing on. But when you're focused outwards, you're not making the connection like within. And you need to leave these people alone. And because I feel like, again, there's somebody else for you, but you're never going to find that person if you're steady chasing something that's not meant for you and will never be like meant for you. You need to call it a day. You need to call it quits. And also like ask yourself, why? Why am I doing this to myself? Why am I setting up something here in my mind that makes me feel inadequate? Because you're not. You're just not. That's a falsity. That's a lie. Let me ask. Something seems better than it is. Yeah, you're healing something here. Just a fantasy. Crabs in a bucket. Nice. Kay says, this doesn't describe my situation at all, but there are still messages. Yeah. Still attractive flies. Okay, so spirit. Shame. There's some kind of shame. Fears and illusions. Shames, fears, and illusions. Okay, I get it. So there's shames, fears, and illusions. What does that sound like? Pluto. But Neptune. You are making that seem better than it actually is. You're turning it into a fantasy. You're turning it into a lore, we're twin flames, we're star-crossed lovers. When in reality, you have fears, illusions that are coming up to the surface. And so with this group, if you're resonating with this at all, it's because there's something that you're overlaying with like a fantasy. There also could be drinks here, and also some kind of illness or like disease. Could potentially be like at play. I'm not saying with you, but like I'm just saying be careful connecting in this energy, because it's not right. And you may well like, you don't want to, that can manifest very physically. I'm just telling you, I'm not saying that to scare you, but I'm just saying like, because you could be like romanticizing the actual energy and then get something, because spirit is trying to tell you, look, it ain't magical, is it, princess? Right? Like, yeah. So this has to do with shame. And it's also like it's blocking out the sun energy. So there's no clarity here. And you really want to watch like drinking with this person or something like that. Some of you think like having a baby with this person. Again, that's that control energy. Let me get my hooks in you. We are going to be a family, and we're going to be an interesting family that everybody looks upon us as like different and unique. It's not meant to be. It's not meant to be. Yeah, you can't win. The Five of Swords. Can't win. And you need to see it. Okay, so you need to interrupt this fantasy. What's going on here? You got to interrupt it with the King of Swords, with some kind of logical energy. There's also something that maybe you guys had like a really controlling father or something. And, oh, I get it. So maybe you had a really controlling father or like authority figure in your life, and you had everything like maybe taken care of for you, but it squashed your individuality in order to be a part of it. So that's why you're looking at this masculine who seems like very free and like, oh, he just does whatever he wants, even if it's down low or like whatever. You're drawn to that because you never got a chance to like actually be that in and of yourself. That's what you want. That's what you want. And you want the freedom to be different. And there also could potentially, I don't know if this is, there's somebody here you like to mess with. And oh God, there's somebody here you like to mess with. I think maybe this is this masculine energy because they're the king of swords to you, or like you see them strategizing to get where it is that they want to get. And you can see that this person's easily perturbed like in this space. Because I think you can very clearly see his Pluto. There's somebody you can very clearly see. This is a quote from a movie. I can't remember which one, but it says, it's from 27 Dresses. And the love interest in that movie goes, for somebody who has no insight into herself, you sure can see into me pretty well. And so I think that maybe you don't look at your own Pluto here because you don't want to, but you can still see this other Plutonic energy. You can see this masculine energy moving towards this feminine energy. Again, you're not looking at your own Pluto because we've already talked about what it's stirring up in you. But you can see that he's in this King of Swords energy. Maybe that he gets very mad, but that he's very mental and he's not tapped into his Pluto. He's not tapped into his like emotional space, and you like to fuck with him. There's somebody here you like to fuck with because it makes you feel powerful to like maneuver around. And it's a very swords oriented energy. And you can see that he's trying to get to the truth of something here. And this also, maybe if it's not this masculine, then potentially you're using this masculine. You could potentially be using this masculine to upset somebody here that you're attached with. But whoever it is, it's taking the place of your father figure who maybe felt out of reach to you because they were the authority, they were the decision maker in your house. And so you can never trump the father figure, but you still have a lot of built up resentment for the fact that he never accepted you and he never wanted you to be unique or different yourself. And so you feel that energy is squashed in you and you're pissed. You're pissed about it. So instead you take it out on emperor-like figures. You may well like to topple an emperor. That may be playtime for you, honey. That may be snack time for you, baby. Little cucumber sandwich. Think that they're running the show here with the King of Swords, but you can see that they're off balance. And you can see that if you keep them confused in their mind, which might involve like, again, drinking or fantasies or lies or something you're like that you get what you want and that you piss them off. And I think you like to piss them off. Like, I'm not trying to judge you. I'm just saying, like, I think this is what's going on. But this is daddy stuff. Like, you got a daddy issue here that never respected you. I also think that your sacrifice in your early home environment was not appreciated. Like, you very well could have worked, like, very hard. Or, again, you feel like you sacrificed yourself or your individuality to make this, like, father figure happy. You felt squashed. You felt controlled. And, again, like, this could make you attracted to men who are untamable and uncontrollable. Again, like, so I feel like there's a split. Pluto is always split in two. Hear me say that. Where Pluto exists, there's always a split in two. So you like to be around somebody that you can control, especially mentally, like with mind games. But you also like somebody who's uncontrollable because you want that for yourself. The way to get that isn't by trying to take down somebody. That's not integrating it into yourself. Become that yourself. And I actually think your attraction to these people that may well be feverish actually goes away. Look, King and Queen of Wands, but I'm just not getting like, I'm getting that you tried to block a genuine King and Queen of Wands, like, because you see this potentially in both of them. So you hate both of them. You hate one of them and you hate the other one of them. And you maybe were trying to block communication here, scramble communication, get in between and burden somebody here. And then look, I'm just seeing her be like, like actually, because you showed up here like you were sneaking around like the edges. Or some of you are dealing with this. I don't know. And look, you think that you're the King and Queen of Wands with this person, and you're not. What you are with this person is the King and Queen of Swords, and this is mind games between the two of you, and that's like the embroilment because neither of you. This is what you have in common, and this is why you are dealing with each other at all. Is because what you have in common is you are playing mind games. This, and again, like this masculine may well be cold to you because they're focused here on somebody else and you can see it, but you like to piss them off because at least they have some kind of an emotional reaction to you. Whether you're the tiger person that's very like sexy and you're like, everybody finds me attractive, you will find me attractive too, because at the very least, I'm going to keep your mind occupied. I'm going to keep you sweating me. And even though it's, I'm just not accepting your nature not to, right? Or again, because the anger, and it's a cold anger too. It's not coming from like the depths. It's a cold, it's like, what the fuck? Like, so you steady play mind games here with each other. That's all that's going on. And there's no winning in this situation. And the two of you somebody needs to heal and put the blocks up. I would prefer it's you after this reading and you kind of understand what's going on here. Because like I said, you think it's the King and Queen of Wands. You think there's a lot of fire, a lot of passion here, and it's not. It's very cold. This is very cold and it's all very mental. You need to see that clearly here because this person doesn't respect you. And you want them to respect you if you play mind games with them. They're just not going to. Because they want their actual Queen of Wands here. And yeah. So I think, again, you could be attracted to like womanizer type energies because, and this man is a womanizer for all the reasons I was saying in pile number 1, because they're not healed. So you're preventing each other from healing. And you like to burden this person. Or flip these energies. Yeah, sneaking around. And it's like you're watching this masculine, potentially watching somebody else. I keep getting that. I keep getting that very clearly. Somebody that you've maybe tricked them into betraying, or somebody that they just have naturally betrayed because they themselves are a saboteur because they're in the logic and they're not connected with the fact that they get very jealous. I think you can see that in this masculine, that this masculine gets jealous over this other person. And you can see that there's a mismatch in communication for the reasons I was describing in pile number 1. This masculine doesn't come from a family where there was direct communication. And this feminine is very confused as to why he's acting the way that he is. And the way that he is because of you, I think. Or because like you've made yourself an option to him in order to try, and you want him. So you are trying to pull on his mental energy. So you distract him from being whole and complete and going after what it is that he wants. This is karmic energy. So please stop being a karmic to someone else. And they're also a karmic to you, by the way. But this is a karmic in the sense, it's like more somebody here, like I think it's you, like are more engaging, like with this masculine, but this masculine is a karmic to you by being an object of your desire or like a fixation instead of like they're tricking you. Not, I don't think they're trying to. Well, maybe they are because this person's trying to use you to maybe make this person jealous. Ugh. Yeah. So you're using each other here. And they do the same thing to you is what I'm getting. So again, I'm reading for you right now. You're my focus. You're the person I care about, like assisting in their spiritual journey. And I hope that you can see that this is where this comes from for me. I just don't think any of us benefit from not having the hard conversations. And you're not second best. Like I think that you're keeping yourself in a position here where you always feel second best. And it brings up the fact that you're pissed. But it's coming out in the mind games because you don't want to feel the emotion. And I'm picturing somebody, oh my gosh, like when I was young, somebody that I was very close to, like went through a breakup, and she always takes breakups like so hard. And she was like, no, I'm convinced that like he's my person. And I was like, if he's your person, then just go get him. And she was like, really? And I was like, yeah. I mean, like and she kept saying things like, and I was young and stupid too. So I drove her ass like 40 minutes and he was there with another girl, like literally like a matter of days, like after they broke up, and the sounds that I heard come out of her, I will never forget those sounds as long as I live. Like the pain that came from like the depths. And I did not even know what to say. And I felt so responsible. But in my mind, like I was young and stupid too. And I was like, yeah, just go get him. At least she had the courage to like feel that and like the sounds that were coming out and like dealt with it directly. And hopefully that led to like quite a bit of healing there instead of the mind games, and like just never knowing or anything like that. But I feel like that's what you're trying to avoid. It's just this wretched sound that needs to come out and just like crying and bawling. And it's not just with this person. Like this person just is able to like tap it in you, what you felt, I think, with your dad in that young space of like, he's such an authoritarian jackass is what I just heard. And you're just never allowed to like express yourself or be free or be independent. And so this also may manifest as like some kind of like sexual impropriety because your dad like always expected you to not be sexual or to not be smart. This could be like misogyny where it's like, and so you, again, like you knew that you were smarter than him is what I'm getting. You knew, and you knew that it's really stupid for him to like just put you down like that. So you were like, I'll show you. Yeah, you think that, honey. You think it, sweetie. I kind of love this. I love it. But like, let's get you healthy. Let's get you healed. Let's get you focused on the people, places, and things where you're meant to be. Because that's how you become this empress, right? Is by moving away from like these F-boys. And you might be trying to tame them as a metric of managing your own self-worth. But you need to give this to yourself. You need to respect yourself is what I'm getting. Because I'm getting like that gesture energy. And maybe it's like you like to be with people who are like a womanizer because you want to be at the top of the pile. And you're going to use your guile and your mind power to be at the top of the pile. And then it's almost like taking a drag off of a cigarette. Like, yeah, okay. It's almost like you don't mind cheating, or you don't actually, like, even if it causes arguments, because you eventually, yeah, like, it's weird because it's like you want to be at the top of the pile, but you can never fully stop the cheating in your dynamic because there's no heart in it. There's no genuine emotion between the two of you, which is actually the key ingredient. Like this masculine, I think in your heart of hearts, you know that he would be faithful to this other person, or that he could, if he was going to turn something around in himself, and you want to mind game your way into forcing him and making him be that way with you. But it's just, you're not where you need to be. And you will actually, if you integrate your Pluto, you're going to be the queen of the jungle. The tiger is the queen of the jungle. So go find your jungle, go find your other tiger. And that's what's actually going to make you feel whole. That's what's actually going to make you feel like respected and proud, right? Like, again, I'm hearing like, if you want self-esteem, do esteemable things. Because I think like that's what everybody's sharing here is like this kind of low energy, this like low self-esteem, right? And maybe, yeah, this looks like very argumentative too. This dance, and it's a fight. Like that's what this is. It's a fight. It's a fight between you and this person. And it's because of like the original fight that, that you're, yeah, that you couldn't win with your dad because you were subservient. Maybe you and your dad are like combatant enemies as well, like from past lives, like you fought in a war together. And so he needs to accept you for who you are or something. But then I'm getting like you want to be the Queen of Pentacles. Like she's like very much in her power. I think you like maybe when other people feel timid around you, especially men. You like when men, because that's where you feel like your sense of power. And it almost looks like she's looking into a crystal ball of like, I'm strategic and I have everything because I'm better than you. And I actually think one of your divine missions is to just throw misogyny in people's faces of like, you want to think that women are not smart. So like you may have, like this group may have tricked somebody into a relationship or trapped somebody with a baby or something like that. I want you to stop running from that. Stop saying, oh, I didn't mean to. And that's not what I was, because it's been coming out in the readings. Like some of you have tricked yourself saying like your manipulation comes from an innocent place. It doesn't. But I need you to look at that clearly and I need you to own it because you are strong. But you don't need, I actually think that you're a champion of women. You're meant to be a champion of us. You're not meant to hurt us. You're not meant to compete with us. You're actually meant to be like, she'll have some more soup, please. Did you hear her say that? You're meant to work on behalf of women, not against us. Electra complex. That's exactly what this is. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I don't know how to say your name, but somebody was like, oh wow, these are some toxic court cards, right? I really dislike the court cards in this deck for some reason. Okay, but that's how we bring in like the Ace of Cups. Okay, so you getting into like your proper position here is okay. And Janae just said too, like that she resonates like with the father figure. But again, like I'm seeing your energy very clearly. But I think like whoever this feminine is, I think this is a shared energy. Like, you know, potentially between the feminines here of like having that strong, like very authoritarian father energy. But somebody here has consciously dealt with their Pluto and is probably different, like is going a different way in their life. They've integrated their Pluto in this particular way. And so they're showing the healthier version of this, whereas somebody hasn't integrated it yet. And they're, again, doing all these things like kind of from the shadows. But like I said, this is somebody who is actually a champion of women. And when all that happens, so when you leave this mess behind and you're not trying to control like this masculine energy and you're not trying to compete with this feminine energy and thinking wrongly that that's how you're going to get your power. If you move away from that situation, if you focus on yourself, you focus on your psyche, you heal that, you find the tiger that matches you, you instill yourself as the queen of the jungle, and you keep that energy, but it's integrated, because when our Pluto is integrated, it becomes a part of our conscious self. Then I feel like you're just as strong. You're a tiger. Like, you're just as ferocious, and you're going to be like, I think she'll have another soup, please. Like, this is where you're actually going to start making, your strength is not for nothing. Your cunning is not for nothing. You're actually very intelligent. You've always known that. I kind of feel like you always knew you were the power in the room. And I think that you were just like, fine, if I can't express it directly here without being like thwarted, then I will find ways. I'm not just going to be meek. It's actually really admirable. Like this energy in you, it's really, really admirable. We just got to get it in the right place. This is healing me, this message. Yeah, strength. And you need to control the inner beast. And okay, so there's also a misunderstanding of strength, like in the first group, but this group's misunderstanding of strength is that it's just, like, it's just like unleashed and that you never tried to tame it. No, you have unparalleled strength here, pile number 2, unparalleled, okay? And if you discipline it with like the strength in the lion, see how she's just tamed it, but the discipline is coming from the feminine side. I think if you're competing with women, I think that you'll go a lot further if you realize that you like women. And some of you like women. You know what I'm saying? And if you just allow yourself to explore that a little bit, I think that you'll kind of realize maybe you do. And maybe this fixation on this female here is less of like you want to compete with her and you want to like smell her hair a little bit, you know? Just saying, like, that might be something that you're stuffing down as well. But I think you really like women, actually. And it's this feminine side of you that needs to tame the lion representing that bestial energy in order to make it regal. And you're actually going to be more potent and more powerful and be able to overtake the world in like a good way. This is Amazon. This is like Xena, like the warrior princess and her like little yell that she does. This is actually very impressive, very admirable energy. And you don't have to rival yourself against other women, and other women don't have to hate you. This is like, a lot of you might have that experience here actually with this group where you're like, oh, other women just hate me, but then like, look how you're acting. So, and it might make you feel attractive to be like, well, other women just hate me, but it's like, cause I'm sleeping with their man, you know, or like, because I've rivaled myself against them. Well, you've made yourself an enemy. Like, don't use it as like a flattery. It's because of your actions. It's because of like the lack of nobility, but you have it in you. If you integrate that, then, and I'm going to say the same thing that I said to the first group. Morality is not frivolous. It's not a flourish on life. It helps you make the right decisions and end up with the right people. So if it's off limits, it's off limits. And I feel like this is going to bring in a utopia. Okay. Yeah. And it's just, you're trying to confuse yourself here to not look, potentially this is a group that has done some things that they're not proud of. And it just weakens you to not look at that directly and to not say like, I acted in some low down ways. And it's like a fever dream. It's a fever pitch. And again, I'm seeing like a bar culture here, or like you were staying in that low energy in order to numb out your Pluto. But have the courage to look at your Pluto. Let's get you out of that, and let's get you into like, I don't know, the House of Parliament where you belong. Janae, yeah, this feminine energy that's unintegrated really sounds like the friend I had to distance myself from because she was competing with me sexually. Yeah, and it doesn't have to be that way. Yeah. Women haters give me the ick. Yeah. Okay. Look, this is temperance. Okay, so something here may have ended, may have died, and you need to balance out your energies here. This is a good thing. This is a very good thing. And it's to help assist you in elevating your perspective. And if you have ended something like with another person here, it could potentially be a very contentious situation. Again, you might really... I'm hearing target practice. I just feel like you guys just like using this masculine energy for target practice, but instead show your strength through like temperance. And this is what's like leading you forward. A lot of you have been on a wands journey as well, which has to do with like competition and like finding your purpose, but it's been difficult, I think, in a different way than I usually pick up, where it's like, you might usually win, to be honest with you, but in winning you actually lose. And that's something you need to see here. Like, you might get what you want actually a lot of the time, but because you're getting what you want, this is asserting the will and rivaling the will against God. You're not going to win the battle against God. God knows what's best for you. So your highest and best path of like, again, going and flowing with the Tao and accepting that when a door shuts, that's actually for your highest and greatest good. Working with that process is actually what's best. So I think you actually win a lot of battles that you yourself pick because you decide you want to go after something. You're strong and you can win. And everybody else kind of loses because you get what you are like triumphant in whatever it is that you've done, right? But then you lose overall because it's not your highest and best path. Yeah, and this goes back to childhood and some kind of maybe rivalry in childhood and feeling inadequate. I feel like you're ferocious fighters. So I'm full circle. For a lot of you, this is, again, it's not the energy that you are dealing with. It's the other energy that's here in the spread. But for a lot of you, it is, and it's okay. But we just need you to join the ladies. I think this is a group that's good at fighting. Yeah, and it's like connecting with your internal Queen of Cups. Yeah, in order to like have a good marriage. And to be honest, some of you like women. Some of you like women. But you're not allowed to. And it's made you very argumentative. And it's made you an enemy to women. And it's also made you hate men. Yeah, because it's almost like you're actually competing with men over women. So it's like, maybe that's why you want to take this masculine down, is because he's after a girl that you actually like the girl in this situation. I've gotten that before. But again, that could be buried in your Pluto because you are never allowed to just be LGBTQ. Because some of you are Q. Like you're just questioning. And the fixation on, what is manifesting as a fixation on a masculine energy, you need to ask yourself if you're actually fixating on the feminine energy here. And that's all I'll say here for pile number 2. Okay. Yo, this has been interesting, hasn't it? I hope group 3 is about women, rainbows, and unicorns. In a Pluto reading, I doubt it. But we'll see. Okay. It's a weird energy to hold for a woman, especially if it's a dominant male. Yeah, but it's like they could be rivaling. Again, it's like 2 men competing. Like I'm seeing 2 stags like competing in a forest, but it's like it's not seen that way because of the different genders and because these people here are expected to be traditional or something like that. And I've gotten that message before where it's like somebody here is like competing with a woman like for a male, but then they're actually competing with the male for the woman because they actually like the woman. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Shades of Black Rainbow. Okay. Thank you. Okay. I'm just taking a brief break here to like recoup my energy. Hey, Alex, sweet hun.
What's up?
Could I have a water?
Yeah.
I forgot to grab one. I'm just feeling a little thirsty. Okay. So, okay. Pile number 3. I feel this is a different energy that's much more sad. Thank you. All right. Yum. Okay. I'm getting pile 3 that you've dealt with the first 2 groups, like in some way around in your life. You might not have known that because there's quite a bit of plutonic energy that's showing up there. So there's maneuvering and there's an indirectness and there's people preemptively defending their heart and you kind of, I'm hearing catalyst. You kind of have been the catalyst for a lot of this transformation. And I don't think that you've recognized this here in of yourself. I'm hearing the word alchemist and I think that this is going to be sunshine and rainbows after all. I'm hearing that you are the alchemist. And I actually think, because I'm hearing healer, heal thyself, teacher, teach thyself. I actually think that you have taken strides here, or you're meant to, or maybe this is something that you're just starting. You have done this, I think. So you've alchemized your pain in some way. You have integrated in some way. I'm not saying that it's complete or fully done here. And it could be kind of a similar scar to like one of these two groups, right? Either you dealt with the authoritarian father of the second group here, but you've alchemized it in some way, or you dealt with the nobody in my family speaks directly about their issues. Everybody just is trying to maneuver around each other, even though we are joined by love and we're all supposed to be on the same team here, flying the same banner, making sure that we all get what we want out of life, right? But we're not speaking directly, so everything becomes this confusing game and a mess where there should be direct adult conversations going on. You've dealt with one or both of those issues within yourself, and you have actually alchemized it. However, I think the ways in which you alchemized it might remain a mystery to you. And that is what's stuffed here in your Pluto. You are denying your own strength. You don't see how strong you are. You actually don't realize that you're kind of in the center of this. Not because you choose to be in the center of it. You stand out. You actually are unique. It's actually your own sun energy. And I think that you've transformed your sun energy. So you could have transformed your philosophies, your career, your selfhood, your health in some way. So some of you could have been sick and it was coming from an emotional space. It's not always, and you should always check with a doctor. But I think that could have been like a big emotional component. And you've actually alchemized this. And it draws, I'm hearing a lot of ire, and it draws quite a bit of attention around you. And it's because people are not equipped and able to deal with their own Pluto. And so I think you need to be stronger. You need to be like more direct, because I'm seeing that Cancer sun within you. Like you might kind of skirt around certain issues because you're not trying to touch the hot button. You actually might sense Plutonic energy in other people here, but it's like you're trying to skirt around it because you're not trying to touch the hot button. But what you are is a catalyst anyway. Because I think that people have had these like they just kind of like vomit up all their gross Pluto on you and you don't even know, but it's because you're whole and integrated. And it's like when people come into contact with you, it is a calling to do their own healing and integrating work. And you don't necessarily realize that because I feel like you've been tangled up in your mind. Because remember like these two people and how it's like strategy and it's mind games. I think you have alchemized it, which means there's a depth to you. You've gone into the emotional content. You've done the wailing under the sky. You've connected with your pain. And I'm talking about you've felt your pain. And then something going on with this situation or having dealt with one or both of these people put you in your mind here, got you like tangled up in a mental space. And it got you really confused. And now I'm hearing that Usher song where it's like, in my heart, like was a photo of you and me. So you don't understand why you felt certain things about certain people and then they ended up treating you a certain way. It doesn't make sense to you because they weren't, and it's because they weren't integrated. Because they felt one thing and did another because they were severed and because they were being strategic. You don't operate that way. And you need to give yourself more credit. Is what I'm getting, pile number 3. You are the strength in this situation. You are a whole integrated person. You are the example. You are the leader. You are the way. And I'm hearing you are the hope of the world. You are the hope. You are the truth. You are the light. And you should not feel bad for igniting this in other people, even though it's really ridiculous. I think these people are clowns. I think they've behaved in ways that are clownish. They've debased themselves. And yeah, they've become saboteurs and they probably tried to sabotage you. You need to understand that these people cannot sabotage each other and you and everyone without betraying themselves, without sabotaging themselves. This is a lack of wisdom. This is a lack of integration. This is a lack of understanding that they operate from this kind of low behavior. But you are something different. Do not allow them to drag you down to your level. So I feel like this is connecting you with your own inner Queen of Swords, because now I'm seeing like, yeah, it is like you've come up through the Pluto energy. I'm seeing like the Pluto, like the base chakras. And then I'm seeing you rise up through the solar plexus chakras, which is like fire. And now I'm seeing you go, like through the heart, which is water, up to the mind, which is air. Like, and I'm not saying this is like some kind of esoteric ranking system. I'm divinating. So like, that's the way the message is coming through. And so I feel like it's connecting you with your inner swords. Inner Queen of Swords, which actually, like I said, you have integrated these things just by way of sticking to your values, and just by way of not running, and just by way of just acquiescing to the truth and saying the truth is that you suck. If this masculine broke your heart, the truth is that you broke my heart intentionally because you thought that was a way to be. Okay, alchemizing that. You didn't run from it. You looked it right square in the face. And that was something that these two other... I almost said something mean. these two people, these two divine human beings that have lost their way, couldn't do. So you're the strength in the situation, but I feel like all of this rising up to the Queen of Swords is actually you becoming conscious of the path that you took, of the fact that you have this impact on people and of the ways in which to get out of it. And I'm seeing the Queen of Swords take her truth, the sword of truth, and like start cutting around like this mental like spider web that's kept you trapped and it's kept you confused. And you need to, I just recently did a special message where it's like the truth of you is coming out. Because somebody here could have, again, like there's mind games here, there's gossip, there's drinking, these two love to confuse each other. These two people, if they're involved or, again, you could have just been involved with like somebody who's a friend that again, like competes with you sexually or something. And they were trying to keep you confused and making you feel like it's your fault or, I wasn't, I was just drunk and he was flirting with me or like, whatever. Like, or these two are like, they like to confuse each other, these two, because they like to play mind games and it's a hobby. Find a different one. But yeah, like they like to do that and you don't. And you are using this like very productively. So you need to, any guilt, any feeling that you had, and frankly was intentionally put there by these two people or one of them, any of that, you need to release it because it's not yours. It didn't come from you. This masculine turned his pain into a dagger and stabbed you with it. And frankly, so did this other person. Or they could have got like persuaded or confused this masculine into doing it on their behalf because this second group is very much power by proxy. So they wanted you hurt, but they could have used somebody else that they could see in order to do that for them. So you needed to see this clearly. You're not weak. You didn't deserve it. You didn't deserve it. And these people need to be making repair, like within their own psyche first, and then they need to come correct. If you allow them near you at all, you're the power in the situation. You own that. The Queen of Swords energy feels to me like your Pluto. So again, like I think what you're learning from the second group potentially, if you dealt with that person, because that person has always known that they're intelligent. They've always known that they're smart, and they've always known that like if you want to think women are smart, honey, buckle up. It's about to be painful. And they're kind of your champion if they're dealing like with this person because they're making this person respect women that he couldn't do of his own accord or something, like recognizing that they have agency because his whole life gets like ripped around by them. So they're kind of your champion here in a way, and you just need to sit back and let that happen. But I feel like, again, you are that Queen of Swords energy, the decision maker in your own life. Your strength comes from making decisions, seeing things clearly, dealing in the truth. I don't think that you recognize that. I think that because you are the only one who's not looked away here, you're the only one who hasn't been playing games here, then I think that you felt, because you were actually feeling the pain as it came up and crying and processing and not playing games back, that you felt like you were the weak one. And again, like this first group was projecting out onto you. Like it was the Justin Timberlake did all the bad stuff to Britney Spears, but is still out here on stage making fool of himself because he's too scared to like look at the fact that he has done some like horrible things and own it up, So you're not the problem. I feel like this is the group that like takes too much on, right? And you may have, I'm hearing Thanos because this is Thanatos. This is another initiation card. You're going through some kind of initiation here. But like I'm hearing Thanos because like, he was like, everything's too crowded here. It's like some kind of scorched earth policy. And I just feel like maybe you've had to do that. Yeah, and now I'm looking at this book called The Journey Home, and I'm seeing a picture of this sage like with his, so like you maybe had to go into hermit mode. But again, this is you not running from your problems. This is you alchemizing your situation, dealing with it head on. This is immensely powerful. I don't think you see yourself that way, and you really should. And people are intimidated by you. And they'll just get more, like if they're and it's not because you're intimidating either. But people are intimidated by you because they have not connected with their own source, their own Pluto, their own power. And spirit is like, you are the way, you are the thing that they're supposed to live up to. So don't dim your shine anymore. Okay. You're the Empress here as well. And you're very creative. And this is like, a lot is going to come from this, a lot in the physical. Like, you're also a very powerful manifester. We were getting that in pile number 1. You're, and maybe even in pile number 2 as well, but pile number 2 doesn't rely on manifesting. They rely on manipulation. And then they like to convince others that they manifested something or that it's meant to be, but it's only like they're setting things up for people to think that. Yeah. So you're just at the beginning. This is, okay. So you having done this, I think that you've been on a long journey. I think that you're tired. I think that you're exhausted. I think that you maybe actually feel worn out. And again, like I'm getting that with these two people. Like, remember what I was saying about some people here feel like a fuddy-duddy, or like they just feel like they don't sparkle, and that they, yeah, and I'm hearing Bejeweled by Taylor Swift. Best believe I'm still bejeweled when I walk in the room. I can still make the whole place shimmer. I feel like you are at the beginning of that kind of journey here. Yeah, and you're clearing out this devil energy. Okay. Yeah. And he may well need to, I don't know. There's people, hold on. These people are still around, okay? They're still around. But there's some kind of karma playing out, or like these people are still around you, but it's because they're meant to alchemize it. But Spirit wants you to be in control of this within yourself, so that when people lash out or when people behave in these like underhanded ways, you know where it's coming from, because you're at the start of a new beginning and you're moving from the Page of Pentacles to the Queen of Pentacles. But Spirit's saying like you might feel frumpy, or you might feel not worthy, because somebody here loves you and didn't say that they did, and they let you. This person, not only did they like not protect you, and this could have well been a father that maybe like, you know, played mind games. Not only did they not protect you, they let you, they put something in you energetically to make you feel insecure, to weaken you in order to try to control you. And they never pulled it out, and they didn't apologize, and they didn't make right, but they love you. And so this is they're reaping what they've sown, because now like you're moving away, but then like you're healing yourself, and you're gonna have everything. I just heard you're gonna have it all. 10 of Pentacles came out. Yeah. So just keep going. And like, I just feel like you're gonna rise up here, like with the King of Pentacles, because you've integrated your Pluto. I think part of your Pluto is not even realizing how far you've come and how much you've done, because you've just been on the journey. You've just been dealing so much. You actually do deal with things as they come. You've just been doing this like so much that you're going to look up and it's going to be like a utopia. You're going to just like accidentally find yourself in like this paradise and having everything that you want. And frankly, it's these people's karma to watch that unfold, because this person, the second group, needs to learn that they didn't take shit from you. They can't take shit from you. You're just going to move it somewhere else. They can take shit from him if he's playing along, if he's engaging with this, but not from you. And this person needs to understand that they betrayed their own heart here. Again, this could be a parent. All right, so I didn't see that in the road sign. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I'm grateful, but it's been so full on. Well, you had to be a lot stronger than you should have. I actually think these are karmics to you, but they have karma to repay back. And I think you would have agreed to be around these individuals at all so that they could potentially pay back their karma. I don't think they did. I think they've fallen greatly. But Spirit is just saying like, you need to block it. You need to defend yourself, so that you need to get away from these people. So if they're still around you, you do need to get away from these people to where like you can't see them or you can't hear them and they can't contact you. And then Spirit is just going to bring the winds of change in, and it's going to help you heal. And you're going to find your place in the world. You're going to find your stability, and you're on the precipice of some new ascent in your life. I know it doesn't feel like that because you feel at the bottom right now. You feel like at the base of the journey, and you are, but you completed your journey. These people pushed a lot of shit on your plate that they shouldn't have, and you still alchemized it. Stop it. The shame. The shame. So they need to be somewhere else. They need to be, let them stay in the kiddie pool. You're moving on. Like, go, like, you can actually be in the deep end now. Like, maybe you got your water rings on, but you're getting ready to have like a completely different experience, to play in a completely different league. And they can watch that maybe in the darkness. Yeah. Yeah. So this is just you handing back whatever these people put on your plate, because it's not yours. Okay. So in your Pluto is content that doesn't belong to you, that these people intentionally tried to orchestrate through their own stupid mind games with each other, or their own stupid mind games towards you if you were only dealing with one of these types of people. But they try to put this on your plate, and you alchemized it, and you're free. I think you're really free. Yeah. And you're independent as well. So this could also be something in your Pluto is like, you're very independent. You're not codependent anymore. Yeah. That old you is gone. The old you has died in a good way. And you feel insecure. But I'm really getting that some of you are going to start a business. You're going to have some kind of bright idea, some kind of creative idea here. And then you're going to alchemize it. But you don't even realize like all of this wasn't for nothing. Okay. Because you bossed up. Like, yes, you did a lot of work you shouldn't have had to do. These people need to be repaying their karmic debts. They needed to be dealing with their own shit. Instead, they decided to push that on your plate. What you did is you transformed that into some kind of superpower. And it is a superpower because it's like an unnatural strength that you weren't even supposed to have to develop in this life, but they gave you no other choice. You met it full on, and now you're the magician. You can handle anything that's like in front of you, and you're going to be the empress. We love to see it. We love to see it. So if somebody here was competing with you, a female that probably loved you a lot and thinks very highly of you, but couldn't alchemize that, again, not only do they not take anything from you, but they're going to watch you like fully bloom and blossom and flower. And just come into your fullness and like be the empress that they were always afraid that you were going to be and like overshine them. They didn't stop anything. They may have won the battle, but they didn't win the war because they weren't fighting on the right. Like they needed to fight themselves. They thought you were the enemy was in themselves. These people are going bye-bye in your life. Same thing with this other energy here that wanted you but couldn't step up to the plate. Well, guess what? That's going bye-bye. And potentially they're going to have to watch you like be happy and succeed with someone else. And they're not going to have the truth. And these people are still stuck in low vibrational energy until they can connect with their own inner King of Pentacles. So we love to see it. We love to see it. This is so beautiful. This is so beautiful. But the way was really hard, and the karma that you experienced in this lifetime, pile 3, wasn't yours. This was other people pushing their stuff onto you, and you just refusing, because we're a social species, so we rely on each other. So if somebody's not pulling their own weight, then it can be like pushed onto somebody else's plate, and then they don't, if you don't want to deal with like somebody else having dropped the ball, then again, you have to alchemize it. And I feel like you did. This is great. You're becoming the empress. Moving on. Nice. Hey, babe. Yeah. I'm not going to say this name, but it's the capital B, capital D, capital R. That person's saying some weird things. Oh, Emperor, thank you very much. Okay, because I don't know. Somebody here is like cheating. Is this a dream? Like, I don't know what you're doing here. I do not bend my knees to insolent might. Just keep an eye on it. I'm not sure what they're trying to say, but they might be being disrespectful. I can't really tell. You're not codependent anymore. Freddie Mercury fist pump. Because people keep yeah. I really appreciate you saying you're not codependent anymore because people keep using that to make me feel crazy for being hurt or having needs. I'm so scared of being codependent again. Yeah. Totally. Okay. Nice. If darkness fills the skies, we'll go on forever like a phoenix. We'll rise from the ashes. Okay, I'm just taking another little break here before we move on to the general message. Thank God Almighty. Nice. Elena, thank you so much for the super chat. Codependency is rough. Yeah. It really is. And it keeps us from our power, right? This message was so beautiful. How can I choose myself energetically? I mean, it's one foot in front of the other, right? Like just making the decision to realizing that you haven't been choosing yourself is step number 1. And then there's no magical way to just ensure that you're always doing it. You just have to be putting one foot in front of the other, Group hugs. I thought I was invisible. You're not invisible. We can definitely see you. Thanks, Jess. How can I clarify myself which message is for me? Because I'm feeling torn and I don't want to run away from a message that might be for me. Don't try to make it fit, And I think sometimes just like with tarot, I think tarot is a feminine craft. And the feminine gaze is much broader than the masculine gaze. So sometimes when we narrow in and we focus too much on the details, we miss the general tone of the message. And like I always say too, listening is not a passive process. So it's kind of like always reflecting certain things back to yourself, but it's the feeling. It's the overall like picture, you know, like how does this fit to your situation? What is it trying to speak to, you know, especially when we do these general readings, because the truth of the matter is the fact that this resonates with anyone at all, like when we're talking to so many people here, it's amazing that it resonates with people like ever at all for any reason. But the thing is, like, there is a lot of people here. So sometimes the message might not be for you at all. Because spirit needs to like focus in on somebody else. So again, this is feminine. It's an exercise in sharing the mic and sharing like the space. Also, like some of you could be dealing with some of these people. So if it could be a situation where, you know, it's like, well, this isn't me directly, but I am still impacted by this because these are like kind of people around me. But there's an infinite amount of ways. And I find that people get confused and people ask these kinds of questions when the answer usually is something to do with self-awareness, meaning it's not really something to ask on a public forum. There's not like one size fits all answer. Nobody can help you get to the answer. The answer comes in you connecting with your own self-awareness and getting curious and trying to like ask about it and trying to like figure that out, you know, for yourself. How does this fit to me? Because it's general, but it's also like very specific, right? Brody, thank you so much for the super chat. Okay. Wow. Okay. Man, the energy is horrible. Okay, so anyways, moving on. Not to you guys. Thank you, you woman, you for the super chat. Okay. All right. All right, Spirit. Message. What overall message do you have here? I'm just going to take a second. All right. Okay. All right, Spirit's talking about like an extreme amount of attraction. What's going on here? And somebody defending against that. Hey, Beth. Hey, babe, can you just put him in a timeout? It's like really throwing me. All right, I'm getting a different deck. All right, Spirit. Let's get that energy out of here. Toy, toy, toy. All right, so. All right, Spirit. What general messages do you have here for the group? Bye, Elena. Okay. The Lovers and Justice. Okay, so I've been feeling this energy a lot here where it feels like there is some kind of major justice that's happening here in some kind of big soulmate connection. Things are rebalancing out. The truth is coming out here about the truth that was hidden before in the past. And again, I think it was hidden by like black and white thinking. It was hidden by the conscious mind and the shadow mind. All of that stuff is coming out here in the open. I feel like it may be causing some level of confusion here. So there's been a lot of questions recently coming up here on the live streams. What happens if I'm not resonating with tarot messages? Well, I don't know if it's not mine. Okay, so keep in mind what I just said. A lot of this has to do with your own self-awareness. Not everything is meant to be clear. Sometimes, again, I think that people misunderstand the spiritual journey as well, which tarot is a spiritual process. It's something that we're using to dip into our spiritual selves. Tarot messages are not supposed to spoon feed you like the truth of whatever is going on. Sometimes the actual deep benefit of a tarot message is just initiating your own self-reflection, giving you a point of reference to actually like swish that around in your mouth. Think about it. Does that resonate with me? Doesn't that resonate with me? Even if it doesn't resonate with you, the benefit, the value that comes through it comes from engaging you with your own self-awareness. This can be a higher, golden nugget that tarot is meant to connect you with than just what it is that you think you came for. So Spirit is saying like this justice that is coming out here in regards of a soulmate connection. And this is Gemini energy as well. So it has to do with, again, childhood, a group, conversation, gossip. All of this is being corrected here at this current time. So Spirit is saying you are going to feel more confusion. And I'm seeing a tempest, like a headwind. There's going to be like a headwind, and it's going to feel like a lot, and potentially you might experience feelings of confusion. That's okay. Trust the process here. And it's because something here is like rebalancing out, and it has to do with like some kind of transformation here, and messages that are going to come in, and they might ruffle your feathers here. They might make you really angry. But again, this is King of Swords energy, and it's like in the mind and like strategizing around. That is going to lead to confusion. And I'm hearing Gloria Steinem here. The truth will set you free, but first it will piss you off. Okay. And I don't know in what direction it's going to piss you off. Okay. Because, so I don't know. It's like, somehow it's potentially going to piss you off. But all of this is a learning process, right? The Page of Swords is learning. There's confusion here from the past. And I'm picturing like the traditional Page of Swords cards because he's kind of like looking back and is confused. The Page of Swords also is huge in that like original picture. So it's like he thinks that he's like bigger. He thinks that he's capable, and he thinks that he's like kind of figuring things out. And again, it's like with the sword energy. So just know that Spirit might be initiating you into a process that you don't fully understand. Just because you don't understand it doesn't mean that it's not wrong, doesn't mean that it's not worthwhile. I'm also hearing they're combating some kind of instant gratification. Sometimes, especially like those of us who are predominantly like in the West, like we think that if we don't understand something immediately, that we're never going to understand it. Or again, that we're just so used to like the soundbite thing. This is not that. And this has to do with respect here and some kind of a tower moment. And there's a lot of anxiety here about like potentially your own strength or someone else's strength. And like a heartbreak energy. Okay. Oh, you guys are so sweet. I've been a chicken. Tarot readers. Okay, and all of this, by the way, is because you've been clinging to something here in the past. It's just not working. We have scorpionic energy here. Again, Pluto, this depth. Work with the energies in February, kind of like culminating at February 22nd. This is all working out for your highest and greatest good. It's meant to start some kind of a new beginning here, and you might need to be protective of this. Okay, so this is supposed to... Okay. So they're showing me, again, like life, but I think this is tarot readings in particular, and not even just coming from me. Okay, this is other messages that you may be receiving from other readers here at this current time. What it's meant to do, it's meant to push you inward. That's where all the activity is supposed to be happening. So again, it might present... Confusion is a really good one, but I can tell that that's not the only manifestation that it could potentially take. And I don't know what else it would kind of look like, but that's the one that keeps coming up. So it's confusion, it's like an ing verb, okay, in the continuous. Like kind of think about you're chewing on gum. Gum is not something that you put in your mouth, you chew for a couple seconds and then you swallow it. You're constantly chewing it. That's the purpose. This is like chewing gum. They might be giving you mental chewing gum, okay? And you're chewing it, but it's a process that's going on inside of you. It's you chewing on it. It's you saying, I don't know how this applies. The answer is not with me. The answer is not outside of you. The answer is inside of you. And it's causing a lot of like energy, like strong energy, active energy inside of you. And you might need to be kind of protective here, like of this space. And it might even like, I'm noticing all the rings on the tree. Like this may unfold here for a while, but what it's doing is it's giving you boundaries, your own personal boundaries. Yeah, they're not wanting anybody in that space. your own personal boundaries may be very important here at this time. Like just kind of keeping up your own boundaries and so that this can happen, because other people don't have the answers. You have the answers. So you're interacting with life in the way that you're meant to. This is a readjustment in the way that you're meant to. So life is kind of giving you things to chew on, but then you're taking it in and you're actually having an alchemical experience. And they want you to complete that alchemical experience, like from start to finish. So again, the answer is not outside of you. Nobody can really like help you. They can be the finger pointing to the moon, but you actually have to kind of piece it together. Because I'm also hearing other people may well have the answers. Like they may understand it for yourself, but this is an Eastern kind of knowing. This is a gnosis. This is an experiential kind of knowing. Like somebody could even like draw you a map. They might be able to explain things in logical terms, but until you can feel it, until you have that like, oh, and it clicks in like for yourself. And once that happens, then it's going to be the key here. Maybe to equal give and take in your relationships, some kind of like love energy. Yes, and it's skewering something here from the past, something that was toxic. Maybe that you did, maybe that other people did. Maybe you need to see something clearly here, like for yourself, I don't know, or something clearly about another person. But yeah, it's like skewering that clearly. And it could have been like a foolish kind of a situation, sneaky. I just heard the fox in the hen house. And you couldn't see it before, but something here, there could be a fox in the hen house. And this could be internally, but it also could be externally. And it's been blocking you from this like 10 of Pentacles. But you're going to get that. But you have to go through your fears and illusions. You have to like stop like the 5 of Wands is like competition or combativeness, and this could be an internal combativeness. So for some of you, that's what they're trying to illuminate, is that potentially one of the reasons why you're confused is because you have internal voices, which we all do, because you have different parts of your psyche. Human beings, you appear to be a single organism, and you are, but you're an integrated system. So there's multiple systems inside of you. There's multiple systems in your psyche, and different like of the father and the mother therapists that like started the field of psychology. They have different ways of categorizing that, of like the unconscious, the subconscious, the conscious. There's different like voices here, but it's like being able to put them together in a way that's actually cohesive, where they're not actually like fighting. So it could be that it's like they're kind of fighting now and you're not getting it to kind of like sink in. So it could be that like where there's kind of this fragmentation, and it's fears and illusions here that are keeping that from happening, and it's a functioning dysfunction. But I'm telling you, this is like a glorious like aha, like a big sort of like aha moment. But you've got to go through the process of kind of like fumbling around, but it's an internal process. And it's like leading to some kind of like death energy. I'd be arguing with anybody and everybody. Stop the conversation in your mind. Yeah. Okay, because right now I feel like you want a new beginning, but it's not happening. And yeah, with like love, potentially, it's not happening. But it's because, and I think this a lot, like we don't understand manifestation in the West. Easterners actually like kind of tell Westerners like okay. Some of you need to understand that you in fact are manifesting. Some of you think that you're not manifesting and that that's the issue. Like, why am I not manifesting? No, you are, but you just don't understand like what manifesting is. Okay. There's a reason why we don't go straight into spirituality. There's a reason why we don't jump straight into self-actualizing. There's a reason that has never been the path, really. Like, unless you accidentally stumble upon it, like Ramana, like he had that experience with like the ants or something that like bit him. And that's when he like had that great realization. But that's because he's a great soul and his karma is such to where he didn't have to go through like the regular path that we all kind of have to go through. What I mean is, so like back in the day when monks used to like join the monastery, well, they would recite the chants. They would meditate. They would sit for long periods of time. They didn't dip into like the esoteric practices and stuff. All of that is purifying them in the sense of like it's self-discipline. They're not doing the things that they want to, that they're overcoming that devil energy of I do the simple thing in the moment that I feel like is going to take the heat off of me. And that makes me feel better. And then I like kind of move on. They're getting rid of that. They're saying you're going to sit in this boring ass position and like, forever. You're going to understand that those are not like the answers. Nikki, thank you so much for the super chat. Right? So, so what they're doing is they're purifying their energetic system, the root chakra, the solar plexus chakra. It's all very mundane. Okay. So that's the other thing is like the earth, the physical experience. Don't bypass that. Don't spiritually bypass that. You need to be taking care of your physical body well. You need to be managing your finances well. You need to be like connecting with your confidence well. You need to be doing all the human stuff like really well. Self-actualizing is the tippy top. That's like the spiritual realization, right? The reason we work our way up there is because if you start manifesting before you've purified the energetic system, you're going to manifest a bunch of craziness. So I think like some of you actually have been manifesting, but you're like, I'm not getting the thing that I want. Like I'm focusing on what it is that I want, but the energy works through you. You are the vessel. So it's like you are manifesting, but you need to understand that on a deeper level. So they're kind of saying like, pause, put that down to the side. We're trying to get in there. And you might well experience this as confusion, but if you're not willing to like accept that maybe there's something you're not seeing correctly or not getting or like not integrating, then you're not understanding that that's why there's something you were trying to manifest a new beginning and you can't do it in some way, right? Yeah. And so you're going to regret it. Like if you manifest before you're kind of like dealing with these things, and the Eastern people always tell us that. They say the Western way of living, this is why you cannot just take manifesting from their culture. You cannot just take yoga from their culture. It's an integrated system. Like it's a way of life, and it's a much softer way of life. But this like go Western culture, it causes us a lot of damage in our energetic bodies. And unless we can see that clearly, and if we're still participating in that, then we can manifest from like a wounded space. And there could be a lot of ego identity wrapped up in certain things like that. And I do this too, obviously, like not trying to like act like I'm better. But it's about like integrating that. And they tell us very specifically, like this really is not recommended for Westerners. That's why people go off to the ashram. That's why they join the monastery, is because they have to get like on a different path. And I'm not telling you can't be spiritual and in the world. Obviously, I'm doing what I'm doing, right? But like we're in the world, but not of the world. And it's just, there's something here like that. Okay. I hope this is making sense. And again, I hope like I'm never just being like, I feel so connected to like the human part of this too. Like that's why I'm always saying like, I don't consider myself a spiritual teacher. Some people have told me that I'm their spiritual teacher, and that's really nice. Like that's really sweet. And I try not to fall into like the flattery of that, because I know certain things, and I'm sure like we all are walking each other home. But like Ramana, or having somebody like an Adi Ashanti or an Eckhart Tolle, somebody who is genuinely enlightened and remains there like for the entirety of like their existence. It's so important to have a person like that you like follow or like look up to kind of go on that like journey, you know? Okay, what is this? Like there's some seriously hateful energy potentially around you. They're just like strategic and unimpressed. And they're trying to judge you, but I also feel like I'm seeing this energy come up from behind you. Like it's a period of judgment, and these are people that are confused about you. Like, okay, so there's confusion all around, and I'm mostly confused. So, these people are confused about you. Like, they're trying to judge you, but they are, again, it's everything that I was saying in these readings. They're trying to judge you, but it's because they maybe feel codependent on your energy. They are not wanting to look at the earth element, or like this Knight of Pentacles, which is just one foot in front of the other, showing up like kind of a thing. Because they don't know where that's going to go, and maybe they don't want to invest that much time or something like in something to get to the clarity, but it is their path. Yeah, I'm hearing like pick up your cross and follow me. Sorry if this message is kind of like devolving, but there's a lot of confusion here. And again, shout out to confusion. I just want to address this too. So Essie said, it's hard to get on board this idea of the journey to enlightenment when it really excludes women in Western and Eastern life. It does. But enlightenment is like a state of being, and like Oh, I wish I could remember her name. There's this Buddhist nun. Like, you might really resonate with her. She talks quite a bit about the misogyny in like monasteries, like monastic culture, and how she's like kind of trying to go about changing it. Yeah, women don't have the luxury to sit in the mundane. I mean, women can join monasteries like in today's day and age, but it's like her experience in the monastery is that whenever they join like the men and the women together, the women have to like bring out all the mats like for the men, and then the women have to sit in the back. And she actually she did an interview with the Dalai Lama where she was, telling him all of these things, and he was like, yeah, we'll have to change that and stuff. But like, because I actually feel like women, like we can join like the monasteries and stuff, and there are like female spaces for that kind of thing. Like that I think has come actually quite a long way. And there's always, in Buddhism in particular, there's always been a tradition of like female nuns. I can't remember what they're called, but and actually they're supposed to be female nuns, and like they're supposed to kind of like work together and everything. But yeah, but I don't like, that's one of those things where it's like that's human faulty, like that's human things. Like enlightenment is a state of being that is accessible to everyone. It's like a natural state. It's just like being tired or being like wakeful or something. Like I hope that you're not thinking that you can't experience enlightenment, because you have the ability to experience enlightenment, but enlightenment shouldn't be put behind like a wall, you know what I mean? And a lot of people that are enlightened don't ever go down like a monastic path or anything like that. They just kind of naturally live their life. All right. Yeah, there are female nuns. Okay. Yeah, I feel like this message, I don't know. I'm feeling something. Sarah says, can you give a health related message? I try to steer away from health related messages. Like if it comes through, it comes through. But tarot is a tool. Tarot is not the best tool for everything. And I really strongly believe, again, like I really dislike spiritualists who are like, and we don't deal in the material world. I don't think that tarot is the best like means for getting those kinds of things. Like if it comes through, it comes through. But yeah. No, it's not Pema Chodron. Okay, anything else, Spirit, that you want to say here? Okay, like there's just an energy here, and I'm just gonna call it out. Like there's just an energy here, and it's negative. I'm not saying like it's coming from you guys, but like it's settled in like around, and I've been feeling it. And actually 3 separate times since I've started the general message have I gotten that there's like evil eye energy, there's negative energy, there's argumentative energy that's actually stirring up. And I'm noticing it take place here in the conversation, because I think what's bothering me about this is, okay, so these things, right? Enlightenment being one of them, where it's enlightenment is a thing that you can experience. Like I was saying before, it's the same as like being tired or whatever. And we have, as we do in true human fashion, we try to help each other. This is what I want to bring this reading back around to. We try to help each other in human existence, right? So the invention of the wheel, you don't have to do that. We share we outsource certain things. We share. And so in true human fashion, and this is one of the beautiful things about humanity, is we try to share. We try to help people along. So just like there's that famous Buddhist quote that says, the finger pointing to the moon is not the moon. The culture that crops up around enlightenment and spirituality comes from a really good place. It comes from people trying to help. It comes from people trying to assist people in doing something that's really difficult to do and difficult to really grasp. And please connect with the heart of that. It comes from a really good place. And the shortcomings, any shortcomings that are born of that, of even sitting here now, there's no way that I can fully impart to you the fullness of enlightenment. I can never do that. It's impossible, because at the end of the day, it's experiential. It's not just a fleeting experience. True enlightenment isn't. It is that kind of like different perspective. The system of that is you, a human being, can flip into a different way of being. And it can be a constant state. It can also be experiential, right? But me trying to, and anybody else who tries to assist me or anyone else, kind of grasp that, the Adyashantis of the world, they can never fully do it, but it doesn't mean that we don't try to assist. And that comes from a really beautiful place. And we've got to be able to separate the two out, right? But everywhere you go, you take yourself. And so the confusion of the human spirit, the power dynamics that we fall prey to, the weaknesses that are inside all of us can kind of overtake things like in our own culture. And we see it all the time. And in that regard, enlightenment spaces and these systems that, again, we create, no matter what space we create them in, whether it's you're trying to teach other people how to become accountants, or you're trying to teach people how to also become a biologist like you. There's always going to be disruption in that space, because you're just trying to assist people like in a journey. Enlightenment is different, and we really do a disservice to ourselves and to other people, scaring them away from like enlightenment itself when we focus on the culture around enlightenment. It's the wrong focus. So by all means, pursue enlightenment and have your eyes fixed on enlightenment. Do not lower your eyes, because like it's that quote where if you shoot for the moon, at least you land among the stars. Have your eyes fixed on enlightenment, the pureness of that space, right? But understanding that these kinds of things can creep in. Luna is kind of going off now, that the emotions that can bring up, and knowing that that is the way, and that if we are to transcend, then to transcend is different than bypassing. So we have to a lot of times come through our own human nature. And you will experience that around the culture of enlightenment here as well. But like I said, there was this very negative energy that was trying to permeate in here to this space. And I just want to ground this back down into our communal nature and the fact that we're all assisting each other. But the conversation even in here started to devolve into a very mental space. And we were narrowing in on these, like, is it this or is it that? Or are women allowed or women aren't allowed? I'm going to do it. I don't give a fuck if women are allowed or not. I'm Jessica, and yes, I'm in a female body, but I'm also a soul, and I'll do what I damn well want. And you can exclude me, and I don't give a fuck. I'm going to do what I damn well want. Keep me out of it. I don't care. I can read. I have a human body just like anybody else. I'll do what I fucking want. So, let's not devolve into those, debate kind of topics, because that's where we find our separation. But in our human experience, our shared human experience, we are connected. And again, that kind of even comes in of did the message resonate or did it not resonate, or whatever. It's making sure that we're connected into that, because there was an energy that was trying to come in here, and it was trying to turn us all against each other, and it was using mental energy to do it, just like in pile number 2. Yeah, I felt a weird energy in the chat. Suddenly it was all mental. What is that? And then we were talking about spirituality as if it wasn't in the room. We were talking about spirituality like it was 2-dimensional on a page instead of actually living it. We can have those conversations. We need the pile number 3 energy to come through, where it was no, you've alchemized all of this, and now you're going into the Queen of Swords energy. Now you're coming up into that, and you've already done this. Now we're just bringing that, we're demystifying it. You've already done it. Now we're giving a name and a face to it. That's the purpose of the mental energy and spirituality, so that we can actually be able to make that connectedness with other people. That's the purpose of the Queen of Swords energy and spirituality. Not to say, well, is it this or is it that? And it's kind of like that. We don't want it to devolve into this almost so the only way that I'm not trying to pathologize anybody or anything, but that one-upmanship of it's showy-offy of all the things that you can know everything about spirituality and not be enlightened. I'm kind of that way. I'm fascinated by spiritual culture. I've read a lot of spiritual books. I'm not Adyashanti. I'm not Ramana. I still have not entered my own kingdom, which is why I'm telling people very readily that I'm not the pinnacle that you should look to. I'm just here doing whatever this is, but look to them. Make sure that you're looking to people who have mastered these things, who can actually do these things. Having a fascination with spiritual culture, even psychology, being able to throw out all of these words, even correctly, is not the same thing as actually knowing how to navigate them well. What are we doing with these things? How are we building our communities and our spaces? And I believe in this community And I don't want anybody coming in here and starting to devolve this and starting to turn us against each other, because the most precious thing that we have when we come here to this space, regardless of all of our brains combined, we probably know a lot of shit. We're probably very impressive people. We can talk a good game. But what I want is this. I've noticed this in spirituality. It becomes like the last haven for people who still are like, still dodging themselves. But instead, they're doing it by actually using spirituality incorrectly, by showing off all the words that they know. Where's the heart of it? I want this to be a different place where like we actually come here to connect. And when we talk about spiritual concepts, it's not to one up anybody, or it's not to like show off all the things that we know. We're like just that in that pile 3, we've done it. We've alchemized it, or we're in the process of doing it. And so when we get to this Queen of Swords energy where we're labeling things and we're naming things, it's so we have common ground between the two of us. Or, I mean, it feels to me like the two of us, but like there's, all of us here. So there's common ground. So we know that we're actually connecting and that we're actually on the same page. That's where the Queen of Swords energy comes in, not to be used as a weapon. I am not your enemy. Even though we have to talk about these hard things, I refuse to be your enemy. That's one thing about me. And I actually think that somebody becomes your enemy when they're actually unwilling. They want subscribers, and so they want to give the fluff messages or like the easy messages, right? Just because they know that that's what people like. I'm not here to massage your ego. I really want to be a friend to you. When the positives come in and the blessing messages come in, I'm here for that too. We're going to celebrate that. But understand that even though certain things are hard, it's not because I'm trying to be an enemy to you. We have to tend this space between us. So hopefully, yeah. And we are going in the same direction, but we each have to go on our own journey. We each run parallel to each other. So as long as we understand that, okay, now I'm feeling like the love come back in here. And I just felt like some squeezing. So it's like, okay, I get you. Yeah. Yeah. Not dissecting these concepts. Well, and there's a time and a place, right? There's like a time and a place to be able to kind of like demystify like what's actually going on. But it is an experiential journey, which is why, like, again, somebody could just never have heard about spirituality and be fully enlightened. Okay. Yeah. Somebody is like, they're trying to cause anxiety. They're outraged by the love. Somebody is in here like this trying to influence us. But again, I just want to be this connective tissue that just reminds us that we're moving away from it. Okay. Oh my gosh, why is there so much negative energy? Why? Hold on, I'm getting into this. Why? What is this? Something has been going on here and why? Why are you so mad? Why are you so mad? Strength? Okay, so this is actually reminding me of, I saw a video and I didn't click on it, but it was like the failed love story that it becomes the genesis of like all the Darksider stories, like all the villain stories, it's like some kind of failed like love potentially, and then they get triggered by strength and teamwork. Why are you so mad? Why are you so mad? Functioning dysfunction. And again, like not integrating the right and the left hemispheres. Why are you so mad? Hi, Luna. The truth. You're mad about the truth. The truth coming out here about some kind of King of Pentacles energy. And you're trying to inhibit somebody's transformation, or like by severing something, by causing an argument that separates. That's exactly what I was picking up on. Because there was a toxic love cup here in the past, and there was some kind of like, okay, so again, one of your messages is in pile 1 or pile 2. And I think I speak on behalf of this community when I say we would really appreciate it if you just joined us. Like, why have enemies when you can have friends? I want to say, like, You can hate all you want. I think we're all rooting for you, like in your human journey, in your human experience. No doubt what you've been through has been difficult, or it's been tough, or you feel slighted, or you're having some kind of emotions. But I gotta say that this isn't the way to deal with it. It's not the way, this isn't the way. And, you know, who knows how long you're still trying to attack me. Like, stop. You're trying to go in for like my heart energy. Is this what's offending you? Because I'm just leading with love. It's a new way. There's healing here. Oh my God, I can like feel you probing me right now. Why? This isn't it. Like, why are you doing this? Like, is this how you want respect? And you want me, this is me. You want me to feel this way around these people who are loving? I'm not going to feel embarrassed around these people. It just couldn't happen. Like, I feel like women are a trigger, and it feels like, I'm just telling you guys this because there's been a weird energy around. Okay, not just me, but like the spiritual community. Like, people have been having these weird experiences, and they've been talking a lot about it. And it just feels like there's an attack here, and they're trying to get my heart right now. Like, but it's like, I feel that I'm not going to be intimidated. Like, I'm just not. But like, I don't care. You can be whatever you want to be, but I'm also going to be what I want to be. And it's just been a weird energy, and it feels like an attack on that Empress energy. It feels like an attack. They're triggered by some kind of feminine strength or feminine energy. They're triggered by some kind of like, Spirit, I just ask that you protect me, and that your will be done here in this space. You are the strongest energy here. And I just, please bring your peace and your healing, and please protect me from whatever this is. I'm just like kind of speaking out like what she said. This person's like so toxic. I don't know what to do about this. I just don't feel like it's not my job to like say, I just don't know what I'm supposed to be like doing or learning here. Well, let's just let it go and move on. But like, I'm just going to get off the stream here. But before I do, I'm just trying to like, I'm trying to see if there's anything else. Cause we're pretty much done. Like, we've done all 3 of the piles. We've done the general messages. So I'm getting ready to get off of here. But, strong women is the issue. Yeah, I feel like that's the case. Or just seeing women get along, seeing women support each other, seeing women grow and flourish and like share the love space, and like seeing people like demonstrate a cooperative energy where it's like, we might have our differences, we might have like difficult things, but like we're gonna like actually go through it because this person seems invested. May God bless us all. Native American idea of Watiko would feel like love to you. Okay. What if it's my ex? Oh my gosh. Okay, well, let me just see, like, is there anything else that like we're supposed to do here? Oh my gosh. Okay, so I just saw, yeah, look. Okay, so this is the 2 of Cups in this deck, and I saw the 2 of Swords, which was like a blocking energy, and then it's like the 2 of Cups, and it looks like very similar, but it's like the 2 of Cups. Look at all the love for you in the community. And like, no matter how you slice it, this is the strongest energy. That you are being so loved and like supported. It's trying to seep in everywhere. Well, I don't think that we should necessarily like be intimidated, but let me just see. Is there anything else there? Confusion. Yeah, they're really trying to stop something here. They're trying to stop our transformation. Or somebody's transformation. And they're trying to stop like your intuition from like picking up when something's like soured. So, okay. Everybody take some time to take care of yourself today. Be loving. Know that love conquers all. Know that that's a stronger energy. We are love. Awareness is key. Right. Like, It's being uprooted. And I really don't think the way to deal with this energy is to like try to shut it down or like shut it out. Obviously it's here. These people have their own like self-sovereignty, right? They are doing whatever they want in the world. I don't think that we should be like intimidated by it, but I just feel that just tuned in. Yeah. So just love each other. Feel our connectedness as a group. They didn't win because we all still feel like connected to each other. We didn't devolve into some kind of like arguing or something. And yeah, like I started to feel like really bad, like throughout this whole general message. I just started feeling like attacked, or I wasn't sure if this was like going in the right direction or something, but like now I feel connected again. Like just ask. You're directly connected to God. So just ask. Okay. So just take care of yourself. Enjoy yourself. Thank you guys for showing up here. We're not going to be intimidated. Love conquers all. And all right. Bye.